Alright, hello everybody, and welcome back to the latest and greatest After Action Report. I am King of Prussia. I'm joined by Salt,
Hello.
and today we'll be recapping Oh god, that didn't work. Excuse me.
1.2C, I think.
B1.2C of Imperial Diplomacy. Classic, unbiased, obviously. This is a great variant. I'm very unbiased. In this game, I played as England, and Salt played as Congo.
Greatest power on this map, I'm sure. Most powerful country in 1642.
Yeah, 1642. Definitely.
I'm sure. 100%.
Yes. And I guess before we start, I don't have extensive notes for this game because that would, oh my god, that would be like an entire book I'd have to write. So a lot of this will go off of memory, so some players might have other things to say here. But when in doubt, you can join the server and you can see all the channels and see who's telling the truth and who's lying. But if there's one thing I would know, it's that Salt and I never lie. So that's not a concern for us.
Of course. We would never.
Yes. So without further ado, I guess we'll begin. We can either begin with your analysis or with mine to start. Mine will take a while, so up to you, I guess.
I'll make it mine done pretty quickly, I think. I think good years.
All right, let's do it.
Alright, so I picked Congo because I haven't played in the region before, so I figured it'd be an interesting experiment. This was after the recent changes, so this Dutch used to have 3 dots in Africa here, and South Home I think was originally Dutch and then got removed, so it's now just a regular old dot. So Congo's actually got a pretty big dot here, so I wanted to try it out. These actually look kind of like a actually playable country than they were. So I decided why not. And I think Congo is pretty interesting in particular because unlike the other two African powers, they have a lot of different routes to expand towards. Ajuran kind of is a lot more sea-based than either of the other two, and you really want to get your expansion there and towards the sea tiles, and it's okay. It's not great. I think most people as Ajuran don't really focus towards the land as much. So I'm not expecting to have a lot of conflict towards them. And Abbey is kind of the same way. I will have more conflict with them just because we have like land borders. But whereas I only have like a 2-dot colonial to my north, they have a massive 10-dot regional. So I'm feeling a lot more secure I'm feeling more secure in my position than I would be if I were the other two regionals. My initial thoughts for this game was that I would try to play the other two African regionals off of each other, try to encourage some kind of fight there. I don't know if African triple was a common strategy at this point, but that was kind of my backup. So if I can't get them fighting, then I'll propose some kind of triple. So what I really want to do is kind of just eliminate the colonials like immediately. I think Dutch especially, I wanted to get rid of ASAP because I think the best route Congo has for long-term expansion is towards Western Africa. There are a lot of dots here with like one-center colonials competing for the area. So if any regional can get in there with like a sizable force before that region's properly grabbed up, like a proper power forms there, then it's a lot of easy expansion. I kind of want to head there immediately and try to have my other regions be relatively quiet until I can get the gains off of there. So that was my initial strategy going in.
Okay.
How did you approach the British?
Yeah, so I guess I'll go from least important area to most important area, so I'll start with my African colony. Cormantin is like a very long shot English colony. You can only really, like, best case scenario, your core is going to be like this, but then you're going to have pressure from Ottomans and someone else here. You're going to have pressure from Dutch here, and like this, and you're going to have pressure from Poland almost certainly this way, because Poland only has these two dot colony, two one dot colonies, and and the homeland. So this is much more important for Poland. They're going to be more insistent on everything. So this is my long shot colony. I'm willing to put invest something into developing it, but my long term hopes are not very high, and I'm willing to abandon it if I really need to. India, I think, is kind of similar, but not quite. In that, if you get a good India, I mean, there are a lot of dots in the area, so it's really good. But it takes a while, and it takes a steady hand to build up, and it also takes a steady alliance with Portugal. I think that in India, both England and Portugal have pretty similar positions, and that the superior stab of one of these on the other will be proven by who is able to maintain a better relationship with the Mughals, and by who, even during war, because you guys will both want to go fight them, and by who is able to better maneuver their units tactically to have some sort of small advantage on the other that they won't see coming. And I rate myself better at the latter, and the former is difficult because Portugal's complicated this game. So I could either have a huge advantage with Mughals, or I could have no advantage with Mughals, or Mughals could just not care about us and just want us both dead. Also, in our previous Blitz game, I noticed that some Ayuthayas do like to do this for some reason. I think that any Ayutthaya worth their salt and with a brain will not be doing any of this early on. This is a futuristic expansion path, like years 5+, I think, right? Where if you want to get in here, you need to have, as Ayutthaya, you have to solidify your power base in here, and you have to have a solid border to your south, like probably about there, right? And that way you can effectively make sure you're defended while you're going for this expansion route. And so if you're doing it early, you're wasting resources. So I didn't expect Ayutthaya to be looking for anything here at all. I thought that this was just going to be a 3, technically 4 power region. That's the other thing, is that if Portugal and Netherlands are fighting, then it becomes mildly better for me in some ways and mildly worse in others, in that I don't have to worry about these two teaming up on me like this. But if they're fighting, then Portugal's going to be diverting a fleet down here, which is annoying, because I want them to be using their fleets this way. So, complicated. That's basically my initial appraisal of India. I just want to try to get dots, but it's not that important, because the chances are pretty low that the colony goes really well in the long term. Then if we go to, I guess we'll go to Europe next, because I think Europe is less important than America. In Europe, generally my strategy is going to be to take Ireland, take Edinburgh, take Iceland, and have a nice defensible core behind this line, basically. Any dots I get on the mainland, like, Amsterdam or something, are a bonus. I don't expect dots here. I just want to have this be defensible. I want my capital to be fine. And I want to spend the first turn doing a bounce with France in the English Channel. Because when England don't do that, they tend to get their heads removed by a certain French invention called the guillotine.
I wonder who popularized that approach.
Whoever did that really cursed me this game to not getting all 3 of these dots in year 1. God, I would love to meet that guy so I could slap him.
I wonder who it was,
Yeah. And then I'll take the Americas generally together, because this is probably the second, I'd say the second most cohesive colonial region, after only behind, this Spain, which is very cohesive, I feel. Is that I need to pick one between France and Netherlands to exterminate, because that's the only way I'm going to have a cohesive colony, whether between these two, or between, these two, right? Let's see, maybe I should use a different color, use black, or between, these colonies, and, all of this, across there, like that. You have to pick one of them to kill. This St. Martin colony was new in this little change of Imtip's map. Basically, this was added so that England didn't have quite as easy of a time consolidating the Caribbean into an English bloc. But the effect of that dot being added was that all of a sudden stabbing the Dutch is much more tempting for me, because the Dutch are going to end up with 2 centers here after year 1, and 2 centers here after year 1. And of these centers, 2 of them are naturally English, New Amsterdam, St. Martin, and And the other two, when taken by, say, another ally, like France, for example, will be very easy to, take, like that, for example. Or, Maryland, New Amsterdam. So it's very tempting to stab the Netherlands right off the bat, just tactically. It just looks good. So I guess that's my North America appraisal. The other thing is that you want to have North Atlantic Ocean control. I want Project Lid. I don't want Portugal to be in here at all. Because in the long term, I want to set up, a few fleets in here. And then I want to either pressure Inuit or fight Inuit if I have to. Or I want to just go say, hey, Portugal, I'd like Azores. Thank you. If I ever stab them. Like I said, if I ever stab them in India, I don't want them to be able to retaliate against me by sending fleets that way, or that way, or that way. So, I guess that's my big overview, which is a lot, but England's a lot. Maybe the most of colonials, other than Portugal, I guess.
Yeah, having that one big block around the north is pretty huge for Britain, just in general, really.
Yeah, just control this whole thing in NAO. NAO.
Yep.
Very secure.
I guess I'll get to opening press.
Yeah. Yours is going to be shorter than mine.
Yeah, I only really talked to my neighbors and then some people outside that immediate cluster for pretty much the entire game, to be honest. But opening negotiations were pretty chill on my part. The most important thing was that I agree with Dutch that they wouldn't go into St. Helena down south. So I managed to grab that one. And they didn't tell me where Marstop was going, but they said that they would leave that dot to me, so I was pretty happy there. And with that, I kind of just secured the year one double, so I would send Pango up to Banda, and those two dots, and then Benguela, and that's just pretty much my year one right there.
Yep.
Ajuan and Abby were both pretty friendly. I think I played with the Abby player before, but Ajuan was new, so they both kind of gave off the vibe that they were relatively not new, not very experienced players. So I was pretty confident with that one.
Mm-hmm.
And Portugal and Ajuan seem to be having some kind of issues, though it's more of a fall thing that I'll talk about then. Now that's kind of it for me. I'll let you talk more about Portugal when we get to yours.
Yeah, I guess before we get into all my opening press, we'll talk about Portugal. Portugal was a collection of 13 players all individually controlling centers and electing a controller of their mainland up here, these three dots. Which meant that press with them was a nightmare, which meant that coordinating tactics with them was extremely annoying or impossible at times, and that you could never quite be certain what they were going to be doing in the long term. It felt difficult to coordinate them with an ally, as an ally long term. And it also obviously it introduced more tensions into any alliance because you didn't really know if someone misordered or if that was intentional and they're blaming somebody else for it, right? So yeah, it was difficult.
After reading a lot of the press and voids, pretty much every player had some kind of issue where they couldn't trust what Portugal would actually do based on press and actual moves on the board. I know I had some issues with this, but I don't know if other players did. But there were times where I was getting less press from all 13 Portugal players than I was from my actual from any other power on the map. So despite them having more players, the volume of press tended to be a lot less than what you might expect.
Yeah, at some points I had to ping. I just pinged at Portugal, at the roll to get everybody's attention, and that still didn't get me pressed sometimes.
The only thing that might work.
Yeah, and it didn't work. So with that in mind, I'll go into my opening press. Yeah, so France didn't do press for the first 24 hours of this game. So my immediate thought was, well, I kind of wanted to kill the Dutch positionally off the bat because it just makes the most sense for consolidating my colonies. But if France is not going to do press, then I'm going to work with the Netherlands. So, and I was doing press with the Netherlands, and she was like kind of agreeable, but the vibes were just not very good with her, in my opinion. It's hard to explicitly say why. She's in Britain, I think, based on time zones. So the time zones weren't the greatest. We didn't get to do a ton of press back and forth, and I never quite trusted a lot of what she was saying, right? It's like, yeah, but really, despite it all being about what I wanted to hear, it's just like, I just kind of, I didn't quite trust it all the way. So after the first 24 hours, when France did start to do press, we got along decently. I will say also, before I go into France and Inuit, that right before this game, Salt and I had played a blitz game as Spain, and we had played against, on England, the players who are now on France and Inuit. So, and for the record, we also, we were Spain, they were England. We spent the entire time fighting in the Caribbean, like Death War, to the point where, to the point, at the end of the game, they threw to Captain Meme and Ezio, who were on France, obviously. It was a good time. If you've watched the video, you know, but those are the players I'm dealing with. France is one of the guys who is England, and so is Inuit. So, for me, getting France on my side is pretty good, because if I don't, then these two clearly have a pre-established relationship, and, well, I don't want to fight France and Inuit, because that can actually threaten North Atlantic Ocean, which I don't like. So, yeah, long story short, when France starts doing press, and they start, seeming open to anti-Dutch ideas, I'm very happy about that, because, killing the Dutch, pretty good. But there wasn't too much concrete yet. I'm proposing plans and whatnot, but I don't have, I'm not going to propose the direct, extensive plans until a little bit down the road, because you want to see builds first, and then really coordinate moves to stabs and whatever. Other than that, Portugal, despite my other problems with Portugal, like thematically as a democracy or whatever, with 13 people, Portugal early on actually was pretty great for me, because they were doing all sorts of stupid things, like demanding Tangier from Spain, which I encouraged, and I was like...
Did they really?
I don't know if they demanded it or if Spain promised it to them, and then Spain said, actually, wait, no, I need that. But I do know that I really encouraged them to go take that when I heard that they might go for it, because that would be really funny, wouldn't it?
I believe they actually thought they might get it.
And so they promised me Brattahlid, uncontested, and I said, yes, thank you, I'll be going to take that. And we agreed on what is pretty much the meta for India at this point, which is that Portugal will bounce Mughals out of Hyderabad in the spring, and then England will move up to Rajamahendra in spring and bounce Mughals from it in the fall. And then I go take Madurai, they go take Maldives, and in the fall they take Bellari. And so we end up with a pretty good arrangement of armies. What you end up with is an army here, a fleet here, and a fleet here, and then you can build as needed, which is probably going to be army, fleets, and fleet. And this is a very natural configuration, both for attacking the Mughals, like this, if needed, but you can also get in a little side attack on the Dutch if you really want to go take that, right? Like you go out like that, and then you just take it, and it's pretty good. All good stuff. And my other read based on press with Portugal and press with other people is that a lot of people are upset at Portugal and want to fight them. And when I hear that, I say, oh, Portugal's like the perfect early game ally, because they're not going to be able to do anything outside of what I directly tell them to. I'm going to say, Portugal, I need you to support me into Hyderabad. And Portugal's going to say, sir, yes, sir. Because if they don't, then they're going to lose their best ally. Which is all very good for me. It works out very well. Or at least, it should, theoretically. Press with Spain is much better than press between Spain and Britain was in the Blitz game. We very quickly agree that we're going to split the Caribbean about like this, where they get Havana, I get Barracoa, Jamaica, and then about this line. this line, because we want to kill Poland, obviously. And that's just
Did they
pretty
not
straightforward.
demand Belize off you?
Oh yeah, we had like some early agreement where I wouldn't build a fleet, right? No.
I think
There
most
was
Spains
there were
asked for like Belize for something trade.
yeah, there were like long-term ideas for a Belize for St. Augustine trade, but we didn't. I don't recall us specifically discussing it at the time because I kind of knew that it's kind of BS to discuss that this early on, right?
Yeah.
You got to wait to see how things develop and whatnot before you can really think about that. And also, having Belize is really nice because if Spain ever looks weak in America, you can just build a fleet here, and you will have a fleet in Baracoa probably. So you do this, take free dot. I love dots. They're
And then
nice.
Spain just doesn't do anything about it because they
Yeah.
can't.
Yep. Easy dots. So yeah, that's.
Pretty good.
Oh yeah, Africa. I get told that France is going for Wallata, Poland is going for Ndakaru, and Ottomans can't get any further here. So basically, I get told Mali's free. So my plan is to do here and then just walk into Mali right away, which would be great because then in next year I can build an army in Coromantine, I can support it here, and I just have 3 dots in Africa for free, which I like. I like dots, like I've said. I'm pretty consistent with that theme. I like dots. Now that colonial press I've explained, time for regional press. So the first and most annoying person I'm going to discuss here is Inuit, the other guy who I fought against in the Blitz game. Inuit start the game, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, we can be friends and whatever." But let's see. I'm gonna see if it's his wording. Blah blah blah. I would rather you not go to Greenland, and I'm like, that's the only.
No.
That's the only dot I can go to. And then you know what he says?
What's he say?
How about you have it year 1, and afterwards it's mine?
Oh no. That's not what you want to hear.
Yeah.
That's a war right there.
Yeah, so I go, I feel like it would be more productive to use that unit to attack someone else, though, no? We could both get dots that way pretty easily. And he goes, what do you have in mind? I go, we have one mutual neighbor in North America. He goes, and then he spell it out. France? Indeed. What do you have in mind? I'm like, dude, the specific moves will vary. And then, of course, his he asks after I said the specific moves would vary.
Yeah.
Mind drawing a map?
Oh my god.
I'm like, no.
This is so close to what he and I got to later on, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, actually, I wonder if I can put a screenshot on the screen for the viewers. Yeah, so
It was a character, this kid.
let's see, we'll go down here. Yeah, right there. Yep.
Well, that's one way to do press year 1.
Yeah. So I'm like not the biggest fan. For some reason.
Who could have guessed?
Yeah. And then in fall he was still. I mean, this is in the future, but in fall he's still insisting. Yada yada. We can get into this later, but yeah, it's kind of funny and kind of sad. But yeah, I'm already preparing for war with Inuits immediately, which makes the EF way more important. Inuit pulling this bullshit with Brottelid means I have to put way more work into getting France onto side, because the only way I'm going to be able to properly beat back Inuit and force him into a peace is if I can devote a bunch of fleets to North Atlantic. If I'm fighting France, I need to be sending St. John's and like St. Anthony and whatever. I need to go this way. I need to go like out here and then down. I need to go a fleet here and take this and get in here and go up. And I have to send fleets to Caribbean as well to reinforce, to beat down this and to make sure Cayenne doesn't get up here like that. I just need fleets. If you fight France, you need a lot of fleets. You need a friendly Inuit. If Inuit is hostile, fighting France is hard, and I don't want to do it.
Yeah, France is a full-time job.
Yes. Other than that, I like to talk to Sweden. No, not this phase. The first Sweden does like a bunch of misorders and really screws things up. So we'll see that in the spring moves. With Mughals, let me see. I'm not sure how honest I was with them. I might have just like immediately told them, like, hey, like you're just kind of screwed. But let's see, Mughals, England. Apologies, everybody, but I forgot. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So I just told him that I didn't want to fight Portugal in Tier 2 because if I stab him instantly, then Portugal's just gonna make 2 armies. And no.
Yeah, not worth dealing with it.
And then he tells me that what the Portuguese players in India want to do is they want to just go away from India. And I'm like, yeah, buddy, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't. Oh, what? I don't think I've seen any Portugal players do that.
This is my response to that.
If you're playing Eagles, you really just have to try whatever you can to drive some kind of wedge between England and Portugal. It almost never works, but you do have to try, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least he's getting creative about it, you know?
Yeah, very creative. This is funny. And then yeah, the press goes on with Mughals, and it just keeps being funny. I think that's most of my early press. Actually, most of the regionals aren't that important to me. Like there are like opening pleasantries with a bunch of other regionals, but there's not really any important plotting because I don't have to fight them yet.
We'll get to the plotting in year 2, probably.
Yeah. I'm gonna use my keyboard so everyone's gonna hear it in the after action report in the video.
People have grown accustomed to the keyboard and all the blips that we've done. The mainstay now.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, so we'll see if we get any. There might be funny tidbits in the Discord server that we'll bring into the video. But for now, I guess we're ready to go on to Spring Moves 1642. So let's see how it went. Yeah, so we'll start with you, actually. Oh wow, really creative moves right there. You got Salt.
I know these. I don't think anyone would have seen these moves coming from me.
Yeah.
It's not like this was like the most common Congo opening.
That's very friendly towards the Netherlands. I think put the fear of God into them a little bit.
I don't think it's worth making. I think it's worth trying to be somewhat friendly with Dutch year 1. I don't want to stab them immediately. I could try to dot frame the Poe, but I don't love like having a 50-50 guess.
Yeah, basically
immediately in the first year.
Basically, what you want to do is you want to wait and see if somebody else will stab them, and then they'll have to build everywhere else and only put 1 unit here, and then you can be like, "Hey Dutch, we're getting along great, but you only have 1 unit, and you're connected to your partner here, so I'll take Sao Tome," and you want them to be like, "Yes, Congo, you can have Sao Tome."
That is exactly the goal. I think I was messaging you quite a bit. I was trying to message both you, France, on like what the dynamics were between the 3 of you and like which alliance was happening. I don't think France talked to me much at all. Dutch gave me very mixed messages. I think
that was her press style the entire game. Mixed messages.
Yeah, like, oh, I want to be friends with England, and like 2 hours later, it's like, oh, never mind, I'll ally with France. I'm like, okay, I'll just wait and see what actually happens on the map. I don't know. I don't think you told me if you were gonna stab Dutch or not. I don't think you did. I think you wanted me to go after Dutch.
I didn't give anyone heads. Like I don't give people heads up. Like if I'm gonna go stab somebody, I do not go and give anyone other than the person I'm cooperating with a heads up about that stab. Never.
Yeah.
You will never see me.
I do want to eliminate Dutch here, but it's like more of a year 2 thing for me.
Yeah, exactly. For me, would you look at that? Oh, yeah, look at that. Responsible England bouncing an English channel, not getting murdered by this, okay? You guys, look at that.
There it is.
Damien, I know you're watching, and Damien, I just want to say, it's not 1066. And frankly, Damien, you really taught me a big lesson here, which was that you need to be a strong, you need very big, strong. What is it? You need to be big and strong, and not weak, not a little weak man, big strong man.
Or
Anyways,
Damien.
sorry, Damien. I gotta do it, you know.
You do.
There's like some justification behind the moving to Wales instead of York. Like
I think
technically,
Wales is just objectively a better move.
it's
Be
better
fair.
because you can go this way if you want, but like there's not like that only matters if you also do this, right?
Yeah.
But like, but
And
oh
that
yeah.
if you move that way, then Sweden might be upset. And
I mean,
speaking of Sweden,
speaking of Sweden, Sweden was kind of new to the game, and also Sweden really needed glass. You know how we talk about C dot take dot, like you see C dot, what is this? C dot take dot. Well, Sweden can't see very well. Sweden guys needed glasses. Okay, Sweden needed to have some glasses to see the dots properly and to know you have to go this way to take that dot first. So I can't hold it against Sweden not having glasses, but
we
Sweden.
just try to like blindly grab at anything within reach.
Yeah. So Sweden, I advise glasses immediately. Please get some glasses and go see those dots properly. Get some depth perception.
I think they like immediately dropped out of the game after those
Yeah,
two
yeah.
and got a sub.
This was Sweden immediately was out, and there was a new player in fall. North America, pretty self-explanatory. No committal moves. Everything as expected. I thought about proposing the Saint Martin Antigua bounce in Guadeloupe in the first phase, right? Because that's more secure for Dutch. If I'm Dutch, then I want to do that bounce, right? But I'm thinking about.
I think this is the first game I've seen Dutch not do the bounce.
But see, I'm thinking about attacking the Dutch, so I actually don't want to make her position better. So I don't. That's not going to happen here, and it doesn't. Amazing.
As you do.
Yeah. Other than that, Africa, yeah, it goes as I expected. Portugal's going here, France is going here, Poland going here, so I can just walk into Mali and fall. And the great thing is the only guy who can test me is France, and France is not gonna pick a fight with me, or at least by their press, they aren't gonna. India goes as expected. Like I lined out, it goes like this. Pretty easy to see, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I think that's basically spring moves. Now at this point, I do some press. I don't know. Do you do any consequential press here?
There actually is some interesting developments in the south here between Portugal and Ajuran. So I'm getting messages from both of them, and it seems like I was trying in like spring to kind of like get the two of them to fight each other, but they actually are going to fight each other over Zanzibar here. So Portugal really wants the triple. They want all three dots. They want Barotes, the Pondo down south, and they want a third dot somewhere. And of course, the only third dot they can get is that one, which is directly in the way of where Ajuran wants to go. So they're pretty up in arms about the whole thing. And the funny thing is that Ajuran could have actually gotten their double off of Madagascar if they had gone for it.
Yeah, if they had done that.
But both of them are very gung-ho about wanting Zanzibar in particular. So I'm telling both of them that I'll help them against the other, and the standard things that you usually do.
Yeah.
Portugal is going to both me and Abby about trying to get a coalition against Ajuran here. I think Abyssinia isn't. They don't want to just yet. So I'm still. I don't want to attack Ajuran if they're not in, so I kind of delay it until a next year thing. But Ajuran really wants me to bounce Portugal in Barote instead of going for my double. So I initially told them that I would, and then I kind of like backed out of it last second. So Ajuran kind of needs friends anyways. I don't really think it matters that much. That's kind of the negotiations in this region.
Yeah. I would have just been like, no, I want dots, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nope, not doing
I would
that.
just take the double.
Yeah, double,
Starting
yes.
a fight with Portugal with a bounce is just not the way to do it, I think.
Yeah, what you want to do is you want to have a Benguela. You want to have Benguela, and then you want to have Mpemba and Pongo, and then you want to do this and this and this, and just pressure. You get the
I
idea.
found Portugal. What I see in winter is 3 more Portuguese
Armies.
armies coming right for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I keep doing, and my press at least is kind of also interesting. This happens with Mughals, and I'm basically like, hey Mughals, I happen to know a lot about what Portugal's doing. I know that like they're gonna be fighting Spain in about 2 seconds here. So I want to bounce you in Hyderabad now, because doing that will prove that I'm committed, or prove to Portugal that I'm committed to the alliance, and that's good. Because then Portugal will only build 1 unit in India, and they will build 2 armies in Portugal mainland, because I told them that. I just told Mughals, like, hey, they'll build 2 armies in mainland Portugal if we make sure that they think that I'm friends with them. And that we can then really effectively kill them like this, and like this. And Mughals is not very enthusiastic about this idea, because he's greedy and he wants to double. And also because Kolkata, that's not happening, because Ayutthaya did this, because the Dutch did that, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But, like, I mean, Kolkata is kind of just a useless unit anyways in most circumstances for Mughals. So I hardly see this.
It didn't really do anything first year.
Yeah, I hardly see this as some great like violation of the status quo. I'm just like, hey, this is pretty normal. Let's just kill Portugal in about 2 seconds. Let me just make sure that it's easy for us to do. So we'll see how that pans out. Other than that, I just keep talking to France and Netherlands basically. I'm trying to hint to like the Netherlands that this is somehow not very coordinated with France or whatever. That it annoys me. You know, the whole thing you do where it's like, oh yeah, this guy, I mean, he just bounced me. I don't know. I don't know why he did that.
See that one coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, sporting Mohawk makes sense too if you're trying to sell that.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I gotta make sure that I got in against France because I didn't know if France was my friend or not. And then Inuit, of course.
Oh no.
Inuit, after this phase, they're like, oh yeah, let me see. I want to get the wording again because the wording is really, I have to imagine, really funny. Let's see. No, are we not? Okay, my Discord's being very cooperative. Here we go. Yes. So Inuit. So what are you gonna do with Bermuda now? I still plan on heading for Greenland. Nothing has changed in my estimation. And then he's still insisting on it year 2, assuming you still want my help versus France. And I'm like
You
no.
check the server right now. Samantha is literally planning to cover the Rodolid thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's gonna obviously that's gonna get coverage because I'm an unbiased commentator. Obviously. I'm just gonna respond to her doing it right now.
Yeah, that's like perfect timing, I think.
Yeah. God. So yes. I will. Let's see. Can I grab a good screenshot? I have like the Discord thing. Okay. Yeah. So I'll just grab all of this, and I will paste it somewhere unimportant down here. Right. Did it? It pasted
I think so.
It didn't take the screenshot. No, I said, 1 second, my computer's being annoying. Okay, screenshot, zoom in, paste. There we go. Yeah. So I'm basically like, dude, I don't know why this is so important to you. So if you didn't give it, you box me in and force me to war with you in the long term. And my response is, you have literally the rest of North America and the entire Pacific. Like,
He's really declaring war over 1 dot. Pro tip, I guess, for anyone that wonders what should have happened here. So wanting the other Greenland dot for North America is like pretty natural if you are going to grow big as any North American regional, or I guess not a Utah, but Athabasca and
but these two,
Inuit especially, are going to want that. And like that's fine. That's a pretty natural direction to go in. But don't tell people you want back. Especially don't tell a person who you have to take it off of.
Yeah. Don't
That's
don't
that's not how
th-
you do it.
don't threaten war over it before you've even built any units yet. Because maybe you'll end
Yeah.
up in a war with like Athabasca, and you'll really want England not to just stab you in the back instantly. Right?
Generally, you don't want to declare wars in this game. You want to declare war after you've made the moves for that war, you know? But then England
I,
like defends themselves and tries to get a coalition after you, and things generally don't go your way.
yeah. So he's. Why don't we try and find out? It's just a game after all. We're having fun. Don't you agree?
Why? Oh no!
And then I
At
really,
least he's talking about attacking France now.
yeah,
That's progress.
and I'm like, it's a rhetorical question to illustrate the idiocy of handing you a center for no reason. Just take the French center. Keep it simple. This is not rocket science, okay? This is not rocket. If you want to stab me, just do it. Don't sit here the whole time and be like, well, you see, I want Greenland so I can go to North Atlantic, so I can take Azores and I can go attack Africa. Like, I'm just not gonna, even if that's true, I'm not gonna believe you. I'm gonna be like, no, I don't like you're gonna do this.
Anyway, that's such, oh
Like,
god, that's such a bad way for anyone to go to. Because it's so far away from where your cores are.
I was like,
You
there's
can't
literally,
hold anything.
like, there's no, like, the sea tiles are too big. Like, if you,
Yeah,
like,
he's just gonna attack you
like
if he gets it.
you do not have the ability to put enough fleets in the North Atlantic to execute the stack. I do. I can put, I can do this, and I can build one here, and I can build one here, and I can build one, like, here. Like, I can do it if I want. But you most certainly cannot. You cannot do that. You will
It's a
get...
very late game at the earliest. That's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's one way to do year one press, I think.
Yeah. So with that in mind, I think I rolled it back. I rolled back past moves on accident. Right? Yeah, we just...
You want them to fall? Or
Whatever. Let's just go to fall. There's nothing else to talk about, I don't think. Unless... Actually, let's look around the map a little bit in the beginning of the game to see if anyone's getting killed instantly. Let's see.
In fall, you're gonna see somebody get killed. Absolutely.
Yeah. I heard about that one, yeah. Everything else looks pretty normal. Ottomans get dots. There's like some... This is clearly Austria-Ottomans fighting, I think, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know why Austria moves to Slovenia. Maybe they did organize a bounce there and then Ottomans stabbed on it? I'm not entirely sure why Austria would do that.
Yeah,
They
because,
don't...
like... Cause just
not
go
setting up
here.
for Sarajevo.
Just do this and this, and then have the fleet go there. And then, I don't know. Or, like,
Yeah.
Or I guess the other option is to... What is the other option? Oh, yeah, you go like this, and then you have the army go there, like that, right? So Vienna, Vienna ends up in Freiburg, Pressburg, and Nuremberg, and then...
Multiple ways to get your +4, and that's not one of them.
Then the fleet ends up in Rome with support from... Yeah, okay. It took me about 2 seconds to figure out... Took me about 2 seconds to figure out better tactics than Austria did in 2 days. So...
Yeah,
Oops.
Poland and Russia holding their units are also interesting to me.
Yeah, hey, so Poland, I know you're watching this. You can hear me. You can do more with this. You don't have to hold, because, like, if you hold and he puts a fleet in the Baltic Sea, then the only thing he's going to do, the only one single thing he will do if you are holding this unit, is do this, okay?
Yeah.
Because there's no
every
counterplan.
time.
But if you had moved that fleet to Königsberg, right? Say you have a fleet there, and you have an army here, or whatever, and they have a fleet there.
You then self-bounce.
Then you can... Oh, that's net technology. And
Crazy.
Then even if he supports you out, say he does, like, I don't know, like that, you just have this army, and the army here, go like that. Look at that. Or, if you're more paranoid, you do that. And it never, like what? Like, Anyways, please move your units. I see you.
This is why the Baltic Sea balance is so common too, because I mean, come on, what else are you really going to do? It's either Sweden or Poland gets into Baltic Sea in spring year
Yeah,
one, and the other is just has a terrible game from that point onwards.
Yeah. Sweden more so than Poland, which makes it even funnier that Sweden did all these terrible moves and Poland had the fleet sit still and eat rocks.
Yeah. And Russia's army hold also just makes no sense to me. Like you can do something with that, I think. You can figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's harder now, I think, because like back when I played Russia, Moscow was like enormous, like this basically. So you could just move Novgorod there and then support your southern front like that. It's not really an option anymore. But like even then, I still think you want to like move it like Arkhangelsk or something, and maybe you like convoy it, and then you can have some BS up here where you do the fleets like that and like that, and there's like something you can do, right? Where like you hold it, there's nothing.
Yeah.
This army is doing nothing, and you're preventing yourself
moving
from...
anywhere is usually better than the hold.
Yeah, like if you're holding, you better have a good reason for it. I have great reasons for holding it in fall. We'll talk about that. Let's see. Anything else important here? This is like a kind of greedy move in my opinion, because like Safavids, if they don't like you, like murderize you if you do this. So, you know, be careful. Move Astrakhan to Bayuli at your own risk. And then there's like this typical bounce with Ching. But Ming doing this is kind of annoying in my opinion. Because, you know, that's a lie.
Yeah, me would never bounce there. You know,
So yeah, I mean,
they have no reason to.
Like yeah, I mean, I look at the move and I'm like, oh, Ming could do this, but there's no reason for Ming ever to do this because the only person Russia is ever going to fight in the East for the first 3 years of the game tops is Qing. And as Ming, you look at Russia and Qing fighting, and you say, oh yes, that's good. And that's it.
Yeah, you
like,
definitely don't want to help Qing against Russia. That's just never going to end well for Ming. Because then Qing gobbles all of those dots, and you're just left with a massive Qing having to really show for it.
And then Qing goes this direction, because like where else is Qing going to go exactly?
Yeah.
Yes. Anyways, I think anything else in spring that's funny? Yeah, they're going for Donnie. That's meta. This is weird. This isn't weird. This is just like they're going for Flores.
Yeah, Dutch don't go for
Banjarmasin.
I don't know. This is a weird. They still can with the Nano,
they do this, I guess. Yeah, but like
going for Flores year one is like a war against Portugal immediately. Portugal, there's no way Portugal is gonna be fine with that.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm the Dutch, I prioritize Donny way more than Flores as well. To the point where I'd tell Portugal, like, I'm going to go bounce you in it. Or maybe I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, Portugal has the two centers to their south anyway, so they have options.
Yeah, they can look whatever. Or maybe I wouldn't as Dutch, because you might be kind of worried about this situation, but, you know, your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
Anyways.
How does South America look like between Dutch and Portugal?
Okay, so this looks pretty normal. Dutch is going around for that and for that and for that, or for
they're going for.
They're going for 3 in South
No,
America.
you're right about that. Yeah. That's pretty normal, I think.
But Portugal is going for that, and they can force it, and Spain is clearly going for that, and they can bounce it.
We're already letting Portugal take the neutral between them is certainly a choice.
I think it's a good choice. I don't know. I feel like you're gonna have to deal with one of the other regionals, and if you make Portugal an enemy while doing it, you're going to get murdered. So avoid being murdered.
That's fair. Yeah. I think generally, if I were Guarani, I would staff for a year or two, but we'll see.
Paraguay? Where?
If I were Guarani, I would stab Portugal like year 2.
I
over those
consider it.
dots.
I mean, if Portugal's fighting Netherlands, then yes, I would too. If Portugal's not fighting Netherlands, then I think that you want to kind of drive Portugal's armies this way, like get the Portuguese armies out of the way and then stab them. You know?
Yeah. And there's just so many more units can get on those spaces than Portugal can really afford.
Yeah. Yeah. Long story short, yes. Let's see. North America. Okay, this is pretty meta, I think. Yeah, because Oot will go for Hawaii,
crazy.
and you will go for Aleutians.
Yeah.
And then Misorder by Athabasca.
Oh, that sucks too.
There's a border
Oh,
right
no,
there.
you can still get 4 dots with that. So
Well, yeah, he gets 4. He just doesn't get 5. If you want to do that, you need to go there like this, and then go down.
you're just not putting a lot of confidence in your neighbors.
Yeah. Okay, that's spring, right? Okay, yes. Yeah, all self-explanatory. Everything looks great in spring. Let's see about fall.
Yep. Sure, nothing goes wrong.
Yeah,
Not for us,
so...
at least.
Nothing for us goes wrong, yeah. So somehow I missed this in the previous map. Aymara didn't put a unit on Madeira.
Oh.
Aymara went to the North Pacific instead with the fleet, instead of going down for the free dot.
Why are they in North Pacific? They don't look like they're at war with Spain.
Yeah, and Oot, for the record, Oot Shoshone let Spain take Hawaii.
Oh. I mean,
And
it looks like it was a trade for the Aqua Bala, or however you pronounce that one.
it's a great trade, except for the fact that Spain can never contest you for it. So you're not like, it's like, hey Spain, or you're actually, hey Oot Shoshone, I will give you this used piece of toilet paper in exchange for that chunk of gold. And it's like, oh my god.
Pretty much.
It's like, oh my god, I got used toilet paper? Oh my god. I've never had toilet paper before. You can have this gold, yeah.
I think Spain's probably pretty proud of getting Hawaii then.
Yeah, which is like and what is that? Like, you need to go this way because, like, more stuff, more dots.
Yeah.
More dots is good.
I guess, I don't know, this looks kind of like they want to set up on France.
But like,
We got 2 on a low way now.
but Cherokee is free. That's a free dot. You can have it.
I guess the hatred for France is greater than their desire for a dot.
And you can support yourself to Kansai in spring and get the dot anyways. I don't know. I just this is immediately incomprehensible to me, which is a good sign.
It's curious.
Yeah. Yes.
Russia isn't having a great time either, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, Russia gets bounced, and then Russia gets kicked out, and then Russia gets bounced and bounced and bounced and bounced, and Russia gets Spitsbergen.
Russia is now dead.
Yeah, Russia
They no longer matter.
Russia really, really misplayed something here, and well, remember that guillotine I was talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, the lesson to be learned from this, by the way, is that you need to take back Chisari first with this army and bring Moscow down to go into Kabardia after, because the opportunity cost of doing that is lower. Because if you fail to get it this way, then you will still have this. But if you fail like this, then you lose both.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what kind. It's like this has to be like more of a failure in a press than board moves. But I still don't even know like what kind of press you needed to have to get both Meagles and Ming down to you.
Like what did even when I had this like a 5-player coalition against me as Russia, I got Qing to be my friend at least. I mean, I guess Qing was their friend here, I guess, but.
The thing about Meagles and Ming too is that like they're actually very natural allies with Russia too. So
I don't know.
Like, and they don't even get like a dot out of it either.
Yeah, we're
fight.
Like, we're ragging on Russia, but the thing about this is that if Mughals and Ming had just elected not to do this, then what would have happened is Russia would have been like, oh, Safavids is my enemy, and they would have built a fleet right here, okay? And then that's very bad for Safavids, as you can imagine, right? And that's very good for Mughals, because then Safavids can't, like, do that. So that's good. Except Mughals didn't quite see it that way, and
You're really giving like a huge power boost to both Qing and Persia by doing this, and that's really not what you want to do. Or if you are doing that, you want to make sure you get some kind of tangible benefits out of it. It doesn't look like either of them are kind of guaranteeing that.
it looks like
And if you're Safed or if you're Qing, you're very happy to see this. But
looks instead like Ming. I mean, Ming did get bounced out of this. You know, take what you can get, I guess.
they were never going to get that in the first place.
I guess we'll talk about my moves now. Do you remember how I said that that to Mughals that I wanted to bounce them in Hyderabad and then attack Portugal next year?
No way.
Well,
How did you manage that one?
Well, they decided instead, they were like, oh, he's being honest with me. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move my units in such a way that nothing bounces, and I border both of his centers. And I sit here and I say, what were you trying to achieve? Like, you just, all you have managed to do, like, yeah, this fleet's annoying, but I have builds.
You just built 2 fleets.
Yeah, you knew I would have builds. Like, I can deal with this. This is not a problem for me. And now that you've done this, I mean, like, they've done that. So Portugal, you know, I'm hard committed. I have to fight Mughals now, basically. Hard committed. It's got to happen. And at the same time, everywhere else, Portugal actually is not doing very well. I don't know. I don't.
Oh, what the? No.
I don't know.
Why?
So...
That was never going to work. I guess Safi said that they would take Rustov? Maybe? Oh. And even if this works, it's not even good. Safi's just build 2 more units right next to it and kick you out. Okay. Well, that colony's dead.
Yeah. Well, the other kind of funny thing, I don't know if Safavids did that. I don't know if Safavids did this because I suggested it, but I said that. Let's see, there was some bounce planned, right? They had to bounce. Let me see. Yeah. So there was like a bounce planned. And so I said, like, just don't bounce them. Whatever. Like, I said you can move Isfahan to Bandar Abbas in spring, and then you can just take both in fall. So I don't know if that was an inspiration. I envisioned it like that with the fleet, right, and the army going down like this.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe this was inspiration. Either way, this is still a really, really, really bad move, because even if you land it, what that means is they have an army here and a fleet here, and so they will build a fleet right there.
Anywhere.
And yeah, you will just get, like, they will just hit you with an axe. You will get hit over the head with an axe.
Yep. What else?
Yeah.
New here. I think my moves are pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. Well, you see, you had glasses, unlike Sweden, so...
I saw a lot of dots, and I decided to take them.
Yeah. I got my nice little dot here. Very good. Portugal held and went to NAO. I don't know. I got my dots, is all that matters. Dots, 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 dots. I didn't bounce Spain out of Havana for no reason. Ooh, fancy, I know.
Oh.
Didn't know you could do that, did you?
I think Portugal just tried to, like, turn one attack Spain in spring, and then decided against it in fall. That's kind of how that reads to me.
Yeah, they had no attack.
I could be completely off. Yeah, I don't understand Madeira playing.
Well, we'll see builds. Yeah. Oh yeah, builds. Builds are gonna be fun.
Yeah. You can probably just move on to builds unless you anything.
Let's see. Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. The Pasca still gets both. Because they can just do this, right? And France didn't bounce them for some reason. So.
I assume that bounce with France is planned.
What?
And the bounce with France
Oh yeah,
is that planned
yeah,
or?
that's planned. Oh, this is I gotta mention this
Okay.
actually. I went to both France and Netherlands, and I arranged bounces in English Channel with both of them, and and then I moved to the North Sea.
Classic. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and then they were both kind of confused, but accepted it. And the only person who took issue with this was Sweden, who was like, "Hey, why'd you put a fleet in the North Sea?" And I said, truthfully, by the way, I was like, "Well, I want to attack the Netherlands easier.
Ooh, yeah.
It's a good time to do it." But then if the Netherlands say anything, I can just be like, "Yeah, I mean, I want to do this, you know." And what's the Netherlands gonna say? You know, they're gonna say no, or they're gonna say no, you can't do that. No, they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, go attack Sweden instead of me." So it all works out. Anything else that's kind of
Yeah.
funny that we can like point out and laugh at? Oh yeah, this. Yeah. What? This is a really. This is an. Oh, sorry. There we go. That's an extreme.
Yeah,
That's
I was pretty
very.
surprised at that too.
That's
I
quite
mean, he still has
anti-Portugal.
fun Euro. He still has fun Euro guaranteed, so it's not like bad or anything, but
Well, it's not
like
guaranteed
there is
because,
a serious
or I guess it is.
vendetta against Portugal.
It's only guaranteed if you build two
Well, yeah,
armies.
he
But if you build
still.
two armies, you're fighting Abyssinia. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. There are actually some interesting discussions for winter between me and Portugal here.
Hmm.
I kind of get into this now, I guess. So, basically, what I want to happen here is for I don't want to see any Portuguese, any army from Portugal is pretty much a declaration that they'll fight me, at least in my opinion, because they only really need those two against Azeron, and then past that, it's like, there's not really enough front line for that to really go anywhere. I think if they build too many armies, they'll just kind of pivot right into me. And also, I kind of want to stab Portugal, so less defenses is better for me.
Hmm.
So I'm like, hey, what are you building here? And they're like, oh, nothing much, just fleet and a army. I think is what they said. Maybe it might have been a fleet and two armies. Definitely more armies than I would have liked. So
Yeah. Any
we
armies.
talked for a bit, and the reason they're doing this is because France apparently asked them to not build more than one fleet in the area. And in exchange, I think France was supposed to help them against Azeron. So I was like, I told them that they needed the two fleets in Moravi and Beira because Azeron is going to move to Comoros Sea,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah. So you need
every
two
single
fleets.
time. You would have to force that if you're Portugal, at least. If you only build the one fleet, then Azeron just kind of like sets up in Swahili Coast and
Yeah.
Seychelles Sea, and you're never getting any angle on them ever.
Yeah, Azeron just bounces
And
you
it took
until their armies come down like this and their fleets come down like this, and you lose.
like you're stuck playing a defense against them the entire game, and that's a fight that you'll eventually lose. It took a lot more convincing than it really should have to get them to do that. I think eventually I sent out a poll. So I made a poll of over I was like option A and option B on the poll. Where option A was basically build the two fleets and actually like win the war,
Hmm.
or at least like I offered to work with them, obviously. So yeah, or build do like the one fleet, one army,
Army.
and I just kill you.
Yeah.
Uh, it's like there's no way I'm gonna just let you do that, right? Uh, I think like hours. It took hours for me to like get a proper response back. I think I teamed like the entire country, so their country specs got the message, and like all 13 Portugal players got it too.
Yep.
It took so long to actually get a cohesive like response from them. I looked at their void, and there's like a whole discussion on like who can respond to the poll that I made and what option they can go with, and that was the most intense Bills discussion that I've ever had. That was fun.
Funny.
I
Um,
think that put me off of working with Portugal long term. So
Good times. let's see, I forget if I had, like, specific build discussions with people. Like, France and Netherlands. Oh, God. I don't know, the builds will speak for themselves, I'm sure. Or they won't, actually, but the spring moves will speak for themselves very well. So let's go there. Builds. Builds. Yeah, I guess start with your builds.
Lots of fleets.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, so Portugal does build the 2 fleets, and not a third army, which is like the most important thing ever. I don't think my builds actually matter as much. I think the 2 armies are basically guaranteed because those are landlocked provinces. The 2 fleets are kind of both to attack Dutch and start setting up for Western Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way I want to start doing that is kind of kill Dutch quickly, and then kind of set fleets up in the sea zones and start convoys. I think like a convoy into Mandan in like year 3 is my ideal here.
Yeah.
Because then I can start kind of crushing that entire area from both sides. And there's not any pressure going on in my east, then I pretty much have free reign to just do whatever I want in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why I build more fleets instead of more land-based armies.
Yeah, I saw your 2 fleets and I figured out pretty quickly, like, oh yeah, Salt wants to come to West Africa, so I'm not attacking. If I do attack Dutch, I'm not attacking the Dutch right here because there's no point.
Yeah.
Because the moment the Dutch are weakened,
enough pressure there.
The moment the Dutch are gone, even weakened, you will just stab me for it because you can. And I mean, I don't begrudge you that, but I know that's what you want to do, and so I will not allow you to do it.
Yeah, I've seen like most games, like England just tends to go all in on the land front in Western Africa, and it tends not to invest too much in fleets there. I figure I pretty much have the entire area to myself.
You figured
I can get Dutch out quickly.
Figured there's no way England's going to make a fleet here. I mean, that's just not very useful now, is it? Well.
Yeah, England wants to be free dots, they'll build an army.
The other thing I vaguely remember here is I start, before spring moves, I start selling Poland on some idea that I want to attack Portugal right now, which is not because I want to do that, because I don't, but because I want them to not put 2 onto Mali, right? Like, I don't want them to be hostile to me. I want them to, like, because, like, I see, like, this, and I'm like, okay, well, it looks like, I don't have any definitive proof yet, but I feel like these 2 are going to get along decently, right? And so if Poland wanted to...
I was talking to both of them. Poland and Ottomans have a pretty strong alliance right now. I think they made it during the first year, but it's a very strong alliance, and those 2 are, I don't want to say carrying each other, but it's definitely a very tight alliance in general.
It's very close.
I think, yeah. So, I mean, we'll get to why that's relevant later, but they're definitely, like, Western Africa is going to be very interesting with those 2 cooperating.
Yeah, so I'm just throwing wrenches. I'm like, hey, let's go attack Portugal. Let's yada 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 yada. Like whatever I can tell you to make you not come and try to make my life annoying.
Yeah.
I'm also telling France
Army
that I want to kill Portugal.
Army Tripoli kind of unnerves me a lot, actually. I kind of want all those Dutch dots to myself.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with Ottomans coming up and saying, hey, I'd actually quite like house estates, thank you. You want to tell them, like, nope, stay north of this line. Goodbye.
It's all mine.
All mine. So yeah, very fun. Other than that, I build a bunch of fleets because I like fleets. The Dutch build 2 fleets. So you can imagine which of these 2 I'm feeling better about working with at this point.
Sure wonder.
Yeah, I wonder which one I want to work with here. We go to North America, and we can see a bunch of armies from France, which is not unexpected. There's no better builds for France here, basically, other than armies.
Yeah.
Literally no point in building a fleet in this position. If there was an Inuit army here, then you want a fleet in Quebec, maybe, to do that, but there isn't, and so there isn't.
Your royal being blocked is very nice for you. You can't get that extra fleet against you.
Yeah, I got France to hold there and follow, which was very good. I like France doing that. That made me feel pretty good about France, as you can imagine. And maybe the Dutch should have imagined too.
Yeah,
So yes, I build an army in
there's a lot of armies.
Jamestown because either I can do this or I can do this. Which will I choose? Guess we'll see.
Real mystery.
Yeah, who knows, really. Fleets in the Caribbean.
Can't really see it coming.
Exactly. Fleets. I like boats.
Yep.
Yep, I like boats. Thank you.
Hmm.
Army here. The army is necessary to do this, so I do it. There's not really any. There's no
Makes
deep
sense.
analysis. I want this.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, E dot, take dot, right?
Exactly. And then in India, I do one fleet and one army actually. Because my analysis here is basically like there's a lot of tactics involved. But we can like hold here. Also, Portugal only gets one army there. We'll talk about that in a second.
Probably good for you, right?
Yeah,
Fleet and Cochin is.
it's vaguely good for me, but it's vaguely annoying because it's hard to deal with this, right? This.
Yeah.
But basically, my analysis is that Hyderabad is hard for me to hold, and I actually had promised it to Portugal as part of our alliance anyways. So I want to pull it over here and then have Portugal put themselves up there in fall at least, right? Because like I'm betting.
Right,
Like,
they'll probably end up bouncing Bugles
yeah,
out, so you might actually be able to keep it.
they'll bounce in spring. This army will not be useful at all, and so in fall we will put Portugal there, and then we will have that line secured. I'll get the fleet out here and force them out of Andhra coast, and everything will be good. We'll have a good progress to make against the Mughals, which is good. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah. I
don't
have
know.
questions there.
I didn't pay any attention to Ayuthai's builds because like
All these look fine except that one army. I mean, if you just swapped that build and the Ayutthaya build, it would look way better
if you
than
just
what they actually built.
had a fleet there, right, and then an army there, and
The
then
fleet Ayutthaya does nothing.
well, you can go this way, I guess.
It can't get it.
But
Yeah, but that's just
but Spain will just
objectively worse than. Yeah.
do that. Then,
Doesn't
yes.
do anything this year, at least.
Also, the Dutch build in
Yeah.
Makassar for some reason instead of Manado. Like, what do you like? What's the idea? Like, where do you what?
The less flexible option. Okay.
It's not even less flexible. It's just worse. Because you don't want to be in Flores Sea or Java Sea. You want to be in Banda Sea or Halmahera Sea.
You already have Flores. Yeah, it's just.
Like if you have a fleet there, you can literally you can force Banda Sea. And then
you can go threaten Danny too.
Yeah, or you could.
You're at war with Portugal.
Presumably, I mean, maybe not. Maybe this is not a war, but like
there's
the army,
no way Portugal agreed to Flores. Surely.
I would also be surprised if this Portugal agreed to that. But if we look at Iberia,
Aries ago, I always love to see the double armies in there.
It's so funny.
It's for an interesting game.
Because
and then Fleet Marseille too.
Yeah, I mean, Spain is not going to have a good time in this position, I do not believe. Although France can kind of sell Marseille as like, I want to go this way, and maybe they do. Maybe France does want to go attack Austria. And as Spain, if you're Spain and France says, hey, I want to go attack Austria with that fleet, I think given Portugal just built 2 armies in Iberia, your response is going to be, yes, how can I help?
You take whatever you can get.
You're gonna be like, you say, yes, I will support you into Rome in the fall if you want that. Anything you want, France, you just got to say it. I'll give it to you, because you really don't want to deal with this type of behavior.
Oh. Yeah, France wants Spain dead, then Spain just dies.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess there is 2 armies by Sweden, a fleet by Poland, dead.
No fleets from Sweden?
No fleets from Sweden.
Okay, that's a decision.
Dead Sweden.
I mean, I don't want to thrash this stuff too hard because those spring moves in year one were so bad that it would take a miracle to like get back into the game, but you're not making the situation better either.
You are not doing yourself many favors. Yeah.
And Russia just cries.
Yeah, Russia has Army Novgorod, Army Krasnoyarsk. Good luck.
I mean, Russia is already pretty much cooked at this point, so you know.
Yeah.
Sweden is just making it worse.
Anyways, what else happened that we can like point and laugh at? Oh yeah. I was also not very happy. I didn't get too much input in Portuguese builds, but I've really strongly encouraged them to just give up a musket and to put a fleet in Cochin, dear God. Because, you know.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, Softies is going to kill that colony if you invest in it or not, so.
Yeah, it makes no difference.
2 fleets for 1 dot is. I don't love it.
I'm like,
I guess they can't secure Rostock, but
yeah, you can. I mean, you can force this all you like, but he'll do this, and
like you can't hold it long term.
Yeah, like I don't see it.
Yeah.
Funny thing, by the way, Safavids didn't put a fleet down here. Like, I guess you don't have to.
How weak Russia is, you can probably just get away with it. To be honest.
I guess, but having a fleet right here is a really good reason that Ottomans can never contest to be like, yeah, I have to have a unit right there on your border. Sorry.
Yeah.
And so you always have some insulation against the Ottoman stab.
Yeah, I can see it. It's also very nice for like convoying around. You can have like move units between fronts easier.
Just go that way, that way, that way. What's the other direction? That way. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
It all crosses over.
The fleets there is always useful, but you don't have to, unless Russia also builds one, but Russia has other problems.
Mm-hmm. Mughals also 3 armies, no fleet here, so they they are committed to anti-me, I guess. That's my
So
analysis.
you fleet in Androcos, and then don't build another one.
Or even one on the other side. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny.
Yeah.
Also, Dutch. You don't need a fleet there.
You don't need that.
You could have had a fleet there, right? Like we talked about the whole time. Or any other places they could have built. They actually got a good few dots in year 1.
Indonesia, they could have built that one against Spain, or not Spain, Portugal instead.
Yeah, that would have been pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't actually have to stop building anywhere else, so But of all the places to not build, I mean, this is the worst colony you have by far. Anyways, that's enough harping on that, I guess, right? I don't know. Inuit. Oh yeah, Inuit was like still demanding their BS, so they built a fleet right there. But for some reason, they built armies here. Well, I mean, I say for some reason, but there's only one reason you build armies there.
Athabasca is going to have a problem with that, for sure.
Probably. Well, I guess there are 2 reasons. That way or that way.
Maybe you can sell that as anti-France, but it feels more anti-Athabasca to me.
You can do those moves, they just won't work.
Yeah. And France just has too many armies. It's...
Yeah. Those are builds, I guess. Any other relevant, like South America, armies, fleets, yeah.
We can move on to spring moves.
Yeah, we'll try to have this not be 4 hours long, maybe. Maybe. Spring moves. So, I guess now we'll talk about some press I had over the fall, because it's much funnier with the context of these moves, right? So I tell Netherlands that what I want to do is I want to attack France like this, and them to do this or whatever, and I want to go here and then here. All the stuff I would say, right, if I want to attack France. The only moves I gave them concretely were moves in the Caribbean. because I gave them concrete moves in the Caribbean, and I gotta verify this with their channel, I guess. But as far as I can tell, the first thing that happened was Netherlands leaks to France, like instantly. I'm gonna go see if I can pull it up.
Oh, that's not great.
Yeah. I don't know what the Dutch were doing. I'm looking in the chat now, and it looks like the Dutch didn't leak, but that the French might have leaked to the Dutch. So I don't know what happened here, but I was under the impression that the Dutch had leaked the map that I drew to France. And then, so when the Dutch did these moves anyways, I was very confused. Because I thought the Dutch wanted to kill me. Because the thing is, right, I said to the Dutch, like, hey, did you just leak that map to France? Because the GMs had to make an announcement that you can't copy and paste maps because it's like screenshotting other people's press, which is not all that. And so when I go to the Netherlands and I say, like, hey, did you just leak that map, didn't you? Their response is not, oh no, France did it the other way around. Their response is, well, you've been lying and making stuff up about everyone else this game, so I mean, you need to like be quiet and and stop being a hypocrite. And I'm like, okay, well, like my assumption immediately is like, oh, you want to fight me? Okay, well, I mean, I can do that.
Those are fighting words for sure.
But like you just tell me France leaked. If she had told me that it was a French leak, then I would have legitimately worked with her from this position. Because, fighting France is possible. And if France is leaking my moves, then I want to kill France.
Yeah.
Because, like this is very, very committal to anti-France. Very, very hard commitment. I mean, now, to be fair, these two fleets were a pretty big obstacle to me ever wanting to work with her in any way, right?
Yeah, I mean, with those two fleets, she has kind of declared that she's going to fight you, and there's not a whole lot you can really do about it.
That's what also confused me. I was like what? Like, you did the moves I suggested, but you built two fleets.
What's the plan with those if you're going to ally Britain? Like, if you are genuinely working with Britain, you would, like, at least clear those builds with them? Or offer some kind of explanation?
Yeah, France was down to stab Netherlands, so that's what we did. Also, France forgot to... Yep. France, I told France we should bounce here, and then France didn't. So that will start a long-running train of moves. I think I also... Maybe not here. I told France should go this way, right? I'm like, France, you should move this way so that we can go and take this. And France just sits still and does nothing. So,
Yeah.
Worrying
is an interesting choice there, but I guess... I don't know. Maybe somebody will actually let them core that.
We'll see.
I'm in hold, too.
Funny.
We'll get to Africa later, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I end up... So, in Africa, what I wanted to do is this, but I had assumed the Netherlands was going to be extremely, hostile to me. So I moved here to bounce that, and then she just, hello? And then...
Oh, she has to bounce the Ottomans out,
Like what?
Oh, no.
Like what?
Oh, wait, I actually do remember. I told the Ottoman player, I remember now. So, me and Ottomans, I see that Ottomans kind of want to invest more in this Western Africa region. So I do offer a alliance against Dutch here, and so I'm still relatively friendly with Dutch. So I'm playing out moves with her, and oh yeah, bounce out the Ottomans here, and we can go after them or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that House of States was going to move north, and I tell the Ottomans to just hold that, so that I can slip into House of States, and that I'll support them in fall. And this is when I make my stab on Dutch. Obviously, I don't think I was expecting. No, I think Nari was supposed to be was coordinated as a bounce between us. I just didn't bounce them. And
Classic.
Yeah, I didn't know about the move to Oyo, but I knew about the others.
Yeah, the other thing that happens here is in spring, or before spring, I'm telling Poland, like, move down to Geba and I'll support you into Niani. And then after the moves in fall, I'm like, hey, Poland, I actually can't do that yet, because I need them in India right now. So how about you and me bounce in Mali, and then we can do it next year. Um, so we'll see how that goes, right?
Yeah. Okay.
India, meanwhile, by the way. So this is where it gets kind of annoying, because Mughals just hard commit to fighting me. This, by the way, this was supposed to be support hold.
Oh
This,
no.
yeah. So it turns out you shouldn't cut your own allies' supports. This is so stupid. Like, what would make you think this was the plan? Like, what?
Yeah, that's definitely curious. Not what I would have done.
Because here's the thing: if this gets support held, then what we have in fall, right, is we have army, army. I'm sorry, army, army. This is our armies. He has a fleet here, right? So you end up what is this? Yeah, fleet here, army. So what we can do in fall is I can support myself down like this with this fleet. I can bring this army here, and then Portugal can do this. And the end result of all of this is that I get Raja Bahadri, Mughals gets nothing, and we get great progress against the Mughals, and I can support them into Ceylon, so they get +1 from it as well. And everything is really good if they do this. But they don't. This is a misorder, and one of the governor of India's underlings, you know how it is, they set up governors, whatever.
Yeah.
One of the underlings claims that they misread the orders and misordered, and I'm like, okay, well, Portugal's just like a useless ally in the long term then. Like, if you guys can't, like, if misorders happen, okay, misorders in diplomacy do happen. But if this is a misorder that is being filed by your country, you are not a viable ally for me. You just can't. You cannot. Right?
Yeah, it's pretty much impossible. Like, if you can't trust the moves that somebody else makes, even if they are genuinely trying to work with you, then it's just done.
And like, it's like if it was a complicated move set, then I would see it. I'd be like, okay, well, you guys, like, it was hard to read.
It's
There was a lot going
one
on there,
porthole.
but it was like I'm holding this unit, so you should make sure that succeeds. And they don't
Yeah.
even get it. Like, oh, I just retreat here, and then I take that and fall anyways with that support, right? Remember how I have the fleet here and the army here, so I get it anyway. Like, I forget if I get it now or later, or however it goes, but I mean, like, whatever.
Yeah, you can pretty much get that fleet right back out. So.
Yeah, I was annoyed. Oh yeah, did you just
Anything else on?
did you stab anybody here?
Yeah, I may have stabbed Hydron here. Uh,
Yeah, I
just a little knife.
So I'm just looking at, like, all of the armies that are moving towards them, and I just have a couple of questions.
Yeah. So pretty much, I managed to convince Abby here that we needed to kill Hydron. I mainly wanted to make sure that the units weren't going to stab me, because they do have a pretty decent line against me. They try to, like, walk into Banda and Mandara. I need that to not happen so that I can safely stab Dutch. So I just need, like, to secure any direction for them to go in that's not me. And Ottomans weren't looking all that viable. Like, my ideal would have been for them to go. I move really either direction, but they were pretty friendly with the Ottomans at this point, so that wasn't really working out. I'm like, okay, let's just go stab Azuron. Portugal's already fighting them. It'll get dots. It'll be great. And
In and out 5 minute
yeah,
adventure,
things happened.
or what is it, 20
Yeah,
minute
I mean,
adventure?
for me, it was 5 minutes.
Yeah, literally 5 minute.
So
You just take Burundi.
I take
Check.
I wanted Bunyoro too. I was promised, like, the way we split this up was that I would get Bunyoro and Burundi, and, like, I think maybe Baidoa too. and they would get
Yeah.
the rest of those cores along the coast. We would let Portugal have Zanzibar, and then we would just immediately pivot and stab Portugal right after Ajran died.
Yeah, obviously.
So, yeah, all these moves were planned to be in a Abbey, and
I have to say, I am quite jealous of you because in the Ice Cream Invitational, which we didn't cover that yet. Maybe we should at some point.
I think we did.
I tried to sell as Abyssinia. I tried to sell Congo. Did we? Oh yeah, we
I'm
did.
pretty sure we did.
Maybe we did. We have to. I have to check. But long story short, I tried to sell Congo in the exact same thing as Abyssinia, and my Congo just Care Beared with Ageron the whole game. And I was like, okay, so I'm jealous
Yeah.
of you.
I could have done that, but I decided that murder was the right option.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. I'm checking right now. Yeah, we did. We never did cover the Ice Cream Invitational.
Oh, we didn't?
We didn't end up doing it. So food for thought.
Yeah, maybe we should. Okay.
Maybe we should.
But yeah, that's kind of
That's you.
what my thought process was here.
Yes.
And it goes pretty well. Portugal's and he beats it back a little bit, but I don't really need Portugal progress here. I just need Portugal to be annoying.
Mm-hmm.
So that works out for me. France coring Cape Co is terrible, and that's going to be very relevant later on. But right now, I can't really do anything about it because Portugal wants to work with France, and we have that. Yeah, they're still friendly. This is not a stab. I wish it was, but it wasn't.
I as France, I cannot imagine letting anybody make that move, let alone Portugal.
It's going. I think the way Portugal stole is that it was going to go from Crozet Basin, Indian Ocean, then like Seychelles Sea. I think.
See, I would have. See, as France, what I do is I say, "Oh yeah, you can do that definitely," and then I just take Réunion and I go, nope.
Yeah.
Or if I allow it, I let him. I'm like, "Oh yeah, you can go to Crozet Basin." Oopsie.
That would have been great. If Portugal and France are fighting, then my life is the easiest life I could possibly have. But I will take what I can get in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Africa. Then St. Helena goes down to Dutch. I knew Dutch were moving to SEO4, so I decided that they did not get to go to the high school. That's kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be a bit more relevant in fall, so we'll talk about what happens in fall when we get to those moves.
Okay, let's see. Anything else notable in the spring moves? I get my stab. I like stabs when I'm doing them. I core Baracoa because I can, and I need to garrison. And if I core, maybe, Spain will be like, oh, he's coring, he's chilling. So, like, for example, if Spain moves, this is how I see cores sometimes. Is what'll happen is if you start a core, people would expect you to just finish it. They'll be like, oh, he's coring, that's what he's going to be doing in the fall. So, because this is coring, Spain will not expect, if I decided to send that fleet there, right, they won't expect me to give that support, because they will expect me to finish coring. So Spain is more likely to send this fleet, for example, like to St. Augustine or something. That's how I see it. That's how I see a course like that, right?
I think that's a pretty good way to use cores, actually.
Yeah.
I like kind of faking people out with it.
So
and then no one really expects it.
Yeah. I'm saying this now so that everyone else starts doing this. Do it. Start, use your cores to make people lose their minds. Because we can. And if you see me coring, I'm just coring. I actually never did this. I never ended up using this against Spain. I just legitimately cored Baracoa. And I never stabbed Spain. I would never do that.
No, not you. I mean, you already at war with Dutch, right? Surely you can't be war at that with the two colonials.
Exactly. I'm glad you see it the same way as me. I'm just so sad. Like, Netherlands didn't apologize, so I wasn't able either to work with her or to stab harder. Like, can you imagine if I had just, gotten to do this?
Would have been so good.
Or, I could have...
I think it's Like you walk into Saint Martin,
Yeah.
and like Antigua goes to Guadalupe, and just get both your dots.
Yeah, or like I could, I don't know, if I wanted to be like min-maxy, I could do that, and I don't know,
True.
I could be
That's
annoying
really
at
fine
home.
with you and right next to both of their dots up there. The Antilles Current.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
chilling. Well, because my other moves are pretty committal, right? Like,
Yeah, that's fair.
the context is important. Also, guess who decides they want Breastplate and decides to start attacking me over it?
I wonder who.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't get it. It's like I saw this coming.
Yeah, it's only.
So the funny thing is, this was an agreed bounce, which is context for later becomes important, but that's agreed at first.
Okay.
Because I figured he was
That's
going to
something,
do it.
right?
I figured he was going to do it anyways, so just told him to bounce me.
Well. Okay, well that works. You're not like at war with him yet, but you're setting up for it.
Yeah, I'm expecting him to do something stupid here in a second, but I'm like the options I weigh basically because he now has the fleet in Labrador Sea and a fleet here, and his army's here. So like I vaguely look at it for like half a second. I'm like, oh, he could convoy, and then I'm like, okay, but that accomplishes nothing, so he's not going to do it because like surely he's not stupid. Yeah.
Really?
So fall news, anybody?
Yep.
Grab those.
I guess we can talk about my region first. So
Yeah.
we are still heavy on the stabbing Azeron line here.
Mm-hmm.
Still coordinating pretty well with Portugal and Abbey here. I also have a decent relationship with the Ottomans. We'll talk about Azeron first. So, you know how I said I was promised Banyoro and Burundi? There's a small
Abyssinia,
problem with that.
you can't get it.
No. This turned out to be a one dot stab on Azeron, which is a bit less than what I was hoping for.
Mm.
But it's I essentially don't love it because Abby goes like +3 here. They get Mara, they get Marique, and then they get €1.
Yep.
So I actually gave them like a really strong position if they wanted it, which like they're actually stronger than me right now, and maybe not like by a huge margin, but like that's just insane positioning that I don't really have. So if they
But
decide to stab me next year,
yeah, it's enough that if they
that's
go
kind of I
talk,
can really do about it.
it's enough if they go talk to the Dutch that you might have problems if the Dutch are competent.
Yeah. Luckily for me, Dutch make like the worst guesses ever, so
I literally,
they're not that strong.
I literally told her like, hey, I'm not going to come kill you in West Africa. I was trying to bounce you because if I kill you in West Africa, then I have to fight Congo next. I don't want to do that. Now, of course, she thinks that I'm like a snake or something, and I lie to everything, that I would never tell any truth, so she doesn't believe me and moves back to cover it anyways, because,
I don't remember exactly what my press with her was like after this, but I know we did have some press. I might have told her that I was coordinating with you on it. I don't know if I don't know if that was in this phase or not, but I know one of these phases I told her that this was like planned between us.
mm-hmm.
Which it absolutely was not. We were not talking about this at all, I think.
I mean, I knew
Just
you were gonna do it at some point, because what else are you going to do? But you never told me.
Yeah, we didn't like plan out any moves or anything. So
Because
that worked out pretty well for me.
because you also had to know that if you told me any of your moves, you were gonna be sabotaged.
Yeah.
I would just so happen to have the perfect tactical suggestion for my good ally the Netherlands to use.
It would just so happen to get all the guesses correct.
Wouldn't that be sad?
But the position is pretty solid. I managed to bounce her in South Atlantic Ocean again. That one actually was a complete guess. I think actually I actually wanted to get into this tile here. That bounce wasn't planned. I was hoping to get into one of those spaces there. Other than that, I really do like my position against her. I have 2 on Stoutel,
Mm-hmm.
and that's literally guaranteed for me right now. I can build like another army in the bands and like bring that up. It's pretty much locked down. I don't think she has builds looking at the map either.
No, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but that's worked out great for me so far. I've drawn
Uh,
less though.
uh
No way Porto would let you score that ever.
but I I just gotta really. Uh, anyways, I gotta
This is
screenshot the
like the
post in the
weirdest
Discord
score ever.
channel.
You can't. It's hard to tell like how genuinely they're fighting each other. Choices were made by both sides here.
Yeah, like what? In well, this I can understand. This I can understand. What are we? What? What are we doing?
Line pouring. The Blitz classic.
Yeah, what a creative use of her time. And somehow we didn't check, but somehow this worked. By the way, this worked. The
How is Japan not supporting themselves with Okinawa? I guess it wouldn't work anyways with the meme tapping, but
well, that
yeah, that might do it.
that
Right.
yeah, Japan is being murdered.
Just a little bit.
Also, if someone stab somebody here. Like what? Like what? You're doing this, but you don't have support to do that. Like
Why would
hello?
you not tap? Oh no. You always tap the supports.
Like what?
That's curious.
I
At least I'm making some moves. You know, I'm at war with two of my neighbors. It's only year two.
yeah. So this
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't get it. Like you're hard committing to help Mughals fight, but they're not. Like, what?
They at war with Dutch at this point.
The Dutch like one got
Oh
them.
yeah. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe this is when Dutch stabbed them, but they weren't at war with Dutch at this point. If they weren't fighting Dutch, I can maybe see it, but it's still not a great stab.
I don't know what you expected when the Dutch put an army here and a fleet here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Pretty
know.
self-explanatory.
Not sure what the thought process was there. Maybe there wasn't one. Sad to say it, but you know, maybe it's true. India.
Just a little bit.
This is complicated. I did a lot of math, and yeah, it was fun. Great fun. I think I should just lose the guesses here, by the way. I forget whether this worked or not. I don't think it did. No, because the support got cut. It's status quo. The support got cut.
Yeah.
So Portugal ends up here. I end up here.
Keep Raja.
This is here.
Eagles keep that one. Yeah.
Masulipatam.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then Safid stabs Eagles here.
Yeah, I don't know what you expected, buddy. Like what?
Russia dot.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
even keep it, and then get stabbed by Russia and Safid.
So I want to let you know, and everyone else know, I was 100% responsible for this happening to Mughals. I went to Safavids.
Makes it so much worse.
I went to Safavids and I said, I guarantee you that the Mughals will not have any builds this year. And, well, the Mughals were +1 here. So, oops. But telling...
It might be +2. To get Mosul.
Really, at least that.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Now, it would have been true had Portugal, like, you know, support held me here in spring, but they didn't, so it wasn't. But telling Safavids that still got them to stab Mughals, so as far as I'm concerned, mission accomplished.
Yep. I mean, mules are kind of forced to focus that way now.
Yeah. Well, this is why you don't do whatever this is.
I wish it was that easy to get a Asahi to stab another one of their neighbors.
Yeah. Uh,
Um, Ottomans, though, are really interesting. So that moving to Wadai, you would naturally assume that they're going to stab,
Abyssinia, because
into
hello.
yeah. You would think that, right?
What? Uh,
Uh, I'm getting told. So Abby obviously believes. Oh my god.
what? Hey, I gotta grab one second.
Yeah.
I gotta get back to the good old days. Oh, my computer's not quite cooperating fully. Here we go. Get that. Yeah, I need that right here, right now. Um,
That's perfect. They really could have just gotten Mara themselves. I'm not sure why they let Abby have that, to be honest.
yeah, I'm just gonna grab that.
But yeah, the move to Wadai is actually not intended as a stab. So Abby is obviously like they're pressing with Ottomans, and they're telling me that it's friendly. Now Ottomans are going to move that into West Africa. So I go to Ottomans. I'm like, obviously this is a stab, right? Like, what are we doing here? I can help you out with attacking Abby. Like, let's make something happen. And no, it actually is intended to go west here, which is
But
the worst possible news I could have
yeah,
because they're in Agadez
yes.
now, I think, or at
No,
least they're going to be.
they don't land there yet, but they will.
Yeah, so they're in Agadez and Knam Bornu. Then where else do they go from there? And I found out the answer was me. I'm not thrilled about this move here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either.
This kind of,
What?
yeah, it leads me to be a little distrustful of where the Ottomans are intending to go.
And then remember how last time the Portuguese Hail Married for Bandar Abbas?
Yeah,
And then now they're just
they're
like,
just
no,
completely noping out of the region
no,
now.
no, I wouldn't want to make an enemy of you, Safavids. I wouldn't want to make you upset. Like, what, hello?
They went to like Gulf of Touch too. They could have got some good pressure on Mughals. And then they still could have gone into Arabian Steppe. I think this movie is supposed to like pressure uh, uh,
Azure.
Azeron,
Yeah, the Portugal was a bad
but
ally.
like
Um,
obviously Abyssinia takes
well,
those dots before you do every single time.
well, Portugal was a kind of a good ally in that they got me to Ceylon, but that's like the bare minimum. It's like, hey, can you support me to a center directly?
Well, they also lost you High
Yeah,
Darabas, so
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah,
they're an ally.
yeah.
They exist.
I didn't understand any of this. Oh yeah, also, I don't understand this.
Oh my god.
Like what?
Anyone is full committing to this.
He's just, but there's no attack here. There's nothing.
No, you can't even support into Rodolid.
Yeah,
Oh.
like there's nothing.
You still don't get it. This army is useless.
Like like you have literally no attack because this is the only way you can get the convoy off. If you try to
They
do
could have
this, if you do this,
gotten
if you do
clear off
this,
France too.
if you do this and this,
Yeah.
I was prepared. I went to cut you, which I should, yeah. And yeah, you could have just like
He took on free stuff off France. Oh my gosh. It just makes no sense too.
like hello.
Uh, you need to like consolidate your own area first before you go for like North Atlantic too.
Yeah, you did
He
be able
can't
to
go
put fleets in
for
here.
yeah. He can't go into North Atlantic before doing that. It just
You can
stretches me
try.
way too thin.
You can try, but you'll fail.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah, Dutch dead. Dead. They got Ville Marie because of some tactical. Because Athapaska is. Well, I don't. I mean, I guess I get why you would do this, but the only outcome of this is that France is going to be weak, and so I will be able to have a nice buffer state for a while.
That's nice for you still.
And, yeah, it's good for me, yeah. And the Dutch will still be around, so I won't be able to properly stab France because the Dutch are, like, grudge-bearing or whatever. And whenever I talk to the Dutch in press, she accuses me of gaslighting and other channels. Which is not a diplomacy term. Gaslighting isn't something you do in diplomacy. So I don't get it. Anyways, that aside.
Yeah. How's Europe going for you?
Same old, same old. Bounce.
Yeah.
Bounce. Dot. Core. She loses Ghent. Because, like, what? Like, I don't... Yeah, I'm sorry.
They don't
I
support
get
whole
it.
Ghent? Oh, come on.
Like...
Hey, at that point, you're just like, throwing France dots.
Yeah. See, you say she's throwing France dots. But, like... Also not. And...
That's one way to do it.
But...
Why aren't you supporting... Oh, my God. You could have taken both of them, too. Okay.
Now everyone else
I guess
watching should just based off of these first 2 years, everyone watching should now have a clear understanding of exactly what I was dealing with the Dutch player this game.
Oh my God. Well, that's... Yeah, they're definitely not building, so...
Hoorah. Yeah. Yeah. Also, if they had decided to gamble, like in this position as Dutch, you have to gamble, right? Like I think that's just correct. You have to gamble, because if you don't gamble, then you're like it's year 2. If you don't, you can still take some risks in year 2, and have a chance of winning. If your goal is to win, you have to take risks here, right? There's a lot of words to say that. So what you should be doing is you should be using this army to do that support, and you should be using this fleet to do that support, because you need to take some risks and see if some coin flips can't go your way.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they press with Poland at all on those moves. Like, I don't know. Surely, if you have any press with Poland, you'd be able to like confidently do that move without thinking Poland would sneak into your dot here.
I also didn't know Poland was doing this ahead of time, by the way. And I think I leaked the moves to Spain or something. I don't know.
As you do.
I don't know if I leaked moves to Spain or if I just told Spain to do moves that would perfectly counter it. Oh yeah, no, this is what happened. Because France and Poland were working together, so, which is why France didn't do that, by the way. So France goes like, I want to cut Caribbean Sea, and so I say, oh yeah, you can do cut Caribbean Sea. I go to Spain and I say, hey Spain, yeah. And so it happens. Isn't that great?
Funny how that one works out, I think.
Yes, quite.
Yeah. It just isn't having a great time, but at least that one worked out for them. I'm still confused about the holds in North America, at least. Apache holding at this point is questionable.
Yeah, because like what you want to be doing is put that one there or put that here, and then I don't know. You can keep going. If
you're gonna hold, at least core it too. Like at least do something with it. I don't know. It feels weird to me.
At least core it and force Oot to dedicate a unit to sitting there and not helping him get more dots, which will be inevitably used against you. Also,
yeah, I'm sure Ute won't see the Spain with very few land units and see 3 dogs. That'll never happen.
The other things that you will start to see is you'll start to see the reasons why I didn't find France to be the greatest of allies. Like this move you should not do. You should be cutting that support, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this.
Or at least like trying to get back in.
Like this is. It only works because the Inuit are really stupid and they can only see 1 dot on the whole board. Like we say C dot, take dot, Inuit, that's all they see. So...
Did they try to hold a unit that was moving away too?
Yep. They did.
Was that moving to Fox Mules planned with them?
Yeah, this was vaguely planned to do like kind of this.
Okay.
I didn't think it would land, but I just said like, yeah, sure, why not? Because if it doesn't land, then they're stuck. And if it does, that means I
Yeah.
landed here, which is good.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Okay.
But
I think we can.
builds.
Right. Anything important on your end to this phase?
Army.
Yep.
I forget. I won't be able to call when I stab Portugal to afterwards, but this is when I start thinking about it, just because of how unreliable they've proven to be with their moves.
I think it's fair. Honestly, Portugal.
Yeah, it's like.
They don't have a great game.
And they need to like not do stupid misorders that are really preventable. I put a fleet here because I saw that and I saw that. So.
Ooh. Oh yeah, I did not like that fleet build at all.
Yeah, I imagine you wouldn't have liked that fleet build very much.
I think I said I know I said something to you specifically about me not being happy about the fleet build.
Well,
I knew it was gonna come eventually, but I wasn't expecting it that soon.
Yeah, because you knew exactly what that fleet build meant. You knew exactly.
I don't want to get stabbed. I don't want to get stabbed build right there.
Yep, because I mean I figured if I didn't build that fleet, then there's a decent chance that you build a fleet here, and then you do this, or maybe I should use a different color.
What?
You know, you.
I would never think about
here,
taking one of your dots.
And then you like say something like that, maybe. I don't know, just hypothetically, of course.
No, that doesn't sound like me, to be honest.
You'd never do something like that
where you would
to
get
me.
that from. No.
Let's see. To you. So now that I have to fight Inuit, I built a fleet in Bermuda here, because, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about it.
Understandable.
What else do I have for builds? Not much. A pretty quiet year for me. France puts a fleet in Nantes, which is, whatever.
I'm with the Dutch channel. You're fine, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I can just, like, I don't even have to worry about that too much. I can just do, like, this, basically, if I want. Like, I have a lot of options, and I'm not very worried about it. The Dutch, do they have disbands? No.
No, they have builds.
They disbanded retreats, I think. In somewhere.
But their cores in Africa are blocked, so we're fine there.
Yeah, because she gambled and lost. Like, I told her she would. I told her. I was like, I don't want Congo to get big, so you're safe.
No, she was totally safe.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about the Ottoman build in Tripoli again. That's two army builds there now. So I'm very worried about where Ottomans are going, because like the alliance with Poland and the army in Wadai just tells me that if I'm not careful, then they're going to immediately go after me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very concerned about that, especially because I can't get Ottomans to stab in Africa just yet. So Abyssinia and Ottomans are still friendly, so like they're both suspicious of the other, but hasn't moved to like a war just yet.
Mm-hmm. I think around here I try to get Sweden and Poland on the same page. Not Poland, sorry. Sweden and Russia on the same page to fight Poland. Because I don't like Poland very much. Or actually, it's not that I don't like Poland very much. It's that I stabbed Poland, and then I don't know if people caught it, but when I proposed a bounce right here between me and Poland, like this, Poland tried to support my army in with his instead of bouncing to screw me out of a build, just because I was annoying to him. Now, I did this, so it didn't work, because I'm not an idiot, and I wasn't born yesterday. But it means that I will try to get Poland's neighbors to fight him. Which isn't hard, because he stabbed both of them.
Yeah.
The
Ottoman-Poland alliance is a big problem on this map, honestly.
Yeah. I say it isn't hard, but, I mean, we'll see. Mughals...
Yeah.
We'll see, I don't know. Math. Math is
I love
hard.
how Ottomans have one build on the entire map. They're at war in with
Nobody. Austria, actually.
Spain and Austria, and they decide that the army Tripoli is the one build that they needed most.
When they could literally just...
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was not happy about that one.
Yep. I would not be happy about that one either. Amazing how that works.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah. Anyways, spring moves.
I guess you
Yeah.
can start with me if you want.
Yeah, we'll do my little Jonathan adventure afterwards.
Yeah, so this turn's actually pretty interesting. So I did just have I started a whole fight with the Azuron, got a massive coalition against them. I got all of one dot from it. So I need dots. I need them fast. So you'll see Portugal's moves here,
Mm-hmm.
and that's because Portugal. They asked me if they could have is either I think it's Baidoa. That's the dot that Portugal wanted. So
Oh, yeah.
we made some plans there. So basically, I'm not getting any more dots from this war with a
Azeron.
Tegeron. It's just not happening. Zanzibar's going to Portugal. Portugal wants Baidoa, and if I wanted it, then Abby can contest that pretty easily. I don't have the position to stab Abby from Banyoro. It's just not happening. So what I instead do is I think this is the time to stab Portugal. They didn't build any new units in Africa, so it's pretty safe for me to do so. So when they ask me if I can help them into Baidoa, I'm like, sure.
Yes, of course, best
And
friend.
it gets worse because they initially proposed like a pretty normal plan. Like they would send Bimba up to Maya, then like Barotes would backfill, I think.
Yeah, so
Something like that.
like this, so they could bounce you.
Um, so I instead proposed that they
Convoy.
convoy into Baidoa. This is my idea. And they're like, sure. And this is all to get like the exact moves. I think originally the plan was like for Barotes to like bounce me in Kalahari.
Right? Oh yeah, like
And I
that.
needed yeah. And I needed that to not happen to get the position that I needed.
Yeah,
So
good. This is just a great stab. Well executed.
yeah, Portugal's completely out of position. They can't do anything about it. It's perfect. I don't think there's any counterplay really to this. They're just kind of dead in the area.
They are now.
Yeah, it's still in their own world. So yeah, that's the thing. Lopez Bay to Engul Basin is weird. I don't know why I did that actually.
Probably wanted to do this and have this fleet be free to act.
Probably, yeah. Borgen stretch continues to go well for me. I'm not taking Sao Tome yet because the positioning and Gulf of Guyana is just so much better than taking that right now. I have Fernando Po like pretty much guaranteed now, and Dutch are continuing to make the wrong guesses. Like that army of North is just always going to get tapped. I don't know why they're trying to support with it, but I am still nervous about Ottomans. So I'm just hoping that they don't decide to stab me. It's nice that they don't get into the Dutch center this year. But I think I do manage to convince. No. These Abyssinian moves still aren't like indicative of a war between them. These are just like the only moves that athletes have made to get their armies somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still not fighting, which I don't love. But Ottomans are kind of moving against them. Like Cairo to Mecca is kind of indicative of their wider plans. So, I'm not sure like if Ottomans are planning to stab Abby or not. They're telling me they don't want to. But like I'm trying to like make them more suspicious of each other to kind of get that to happen eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And mainly, I just don't want Abby to like use their 10 different armies to go and stab me, so I just need them going some other direction. That's
Yeah.
mainly why I need this to happen, but it's going well so far.
Yes. Well, I have a bit more of a complicated turn because you know how Portugal misordered in India and cost me a bunch of territory.
Yeah. Surely
Uh,
that wouldn't happen again.
well, they don't misorder this time. They do everything I say, and I stab them for it because I'm annoyed.
Mm.
And,
Yeah.
and at the same time, Ayutthaya does this, which I don't
Oh,
understand.
what?
Yeah,
Why are they working with Dutch after Dutch dotted them?
Dutch
That's
jotted
so
them. They're working with,
confusing.
like, when they could just you can just kill them. Like, this is just murder. This is extremely easy murder. Just like this, they're dead, right?
Yep.
Like the most, like, dead as a doorknob.
That would have worked.
Yeah, and they're doing this.
Guaranteed them any builds.
They're doing this. They want a
Oh,
convoy.
wow.
They want to convoy is what this means.
Yeah.
Which is an idea. Now, I'm working with Mughals now, so they've agreed to disband this fleet on retreats, so I have some respite there, at least.
Okay.
And I'm going to surrender Madras, basically. Well, it's complicated. In the end, I decided to continue stabbing Portugal and surrender Madras because I just don't want to work with Portugal. And I feel like now that I've stabbed them, they're going to counter-stab me whenever they can because they're a democracy, they're emotional, and they're always going to be people who go like, oh my god, but KOC stabbed us that one time. What if he does it again? We have to... Well, we got to take care of him
Yeah,
now.
denying the core for the build is probably the better option here, just to make sure you're not missing more units.
Yeah, but like if this was like a one player, then A, this probably never happens, but B, at this point I might be more willing to walk it back. But the fact that it's a democracy and I feel like they're gonna, be less open to compromise kind of forces my hand in this situation.
Yeah, I think so too. This feels solid to me. It's weird to have them allied with Mughals, Ming, and Dutch.
And Dutch. If Ayutthaya had not done this move, this would all work out very, very, very good for me. Because I get 2 dots. Well, actually, yeah, 2, maybe 3. Mughals had agreed to put me in Balarian Fall. So the way it works is if Ayutthaya doesn't do this and make Madras annoying, then I end up in either Cochin or Maldives, and Bellari and Masulipatam. Very good. The Dutch are going to force sail on here, and, whatever. Right? They can have it. I don't care. It's not useful. It's just a dot that I saw. I saw a dot, so I took it earlier. But it's okay. But yeah, Ayutthaya does this. We can all guess how that is going to impact my ability to act in India, which is poorly. Because that's a poor move.
Not
it's like
ideal.
I don't understand. And I will not pretend to. Because at any moment, any dots you have down here are just going to be partitioned from any direction.
Yeah, you could have had a pretty good India colony. They didn't decide to randomly mess with it. I think this was like a balance of power move for them, so that you were at the top of the scoreboard at this point in time, I think.
Probably, yeah.
That's probably what it is. I disagree with trying to balance powers as a
regional
or center regional just in general, but I think that's what this move was.
Literally, Ayutthaya is on 7 centers at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have 7 centers. If you are going to have any chance of winning this game, it is not going to be by extending it because you're in such a weak position. You need to snowball fast. Snowball right now. You need to get it going as soon as you can.
And if they don't do that, then they're just dead. There's just no reason for them to win anymore if they don't get got this year. It doesn't look like they will.
They'll get 1, maybe 1.
Well, it's like if you let them to. It's not guaranteed.
Yeah, it's like I can just.
They had to know it wouldn't be guaranteed. This move is like purely just to annoy you.
Yeah. So feels great in that sense. What else happens? My dot. So what happens here is Poland has decided I'm an enemy because I lied earlier, which I did. I did lie earlier. It's that funny. I think I had told France to move like one of these two moves, and they didn't again because France is just a very reliable ally.
Oh, two
Jim,
holes? Come on.
yes,
That infuriates me.
this behavior in Africa specifically was very annoying and meant that France was not quite as useful an ally as it should be. Like the EF should be very powerful because you can coordinate here, you coordinate here, you coordinate here, you coordinate here. But France is just not doing coordination here, which decreases the value of coordinating elsewhere because now that I've got my Dutch dots, basically. This year I get my Dutch dots, right? Because I'll have all this secured. It really severely decreases the value of me being allied to France, in my opinion. But France can't quite think that far ahead, so...
How's your position in Europe looking? If you can...
Oh, yeah.
If you put Dutch there, then you can pivot on to France easier too.
Yeah, I'm having a decent time. France, I don't know. I don't know what France was doing, but he lost Ghent.
Okay. That's a way to do it.
Yep. Against Inuit, there's like all these moves that basically boil down to I let him into Brattahlid here because I can just take it and fall. I could have forced Labrador Sea. It's the funny thing because he did this creative move, is what I'll call it. At the same time, France is not attacking. France is not attacking Inuit. France is trying to work with Inuit.
Anyone who wants dots, they can just stab France. I don't get it.
Yeah.
All this work for just the one Greenland dot is a little much.
The one Greenland dot you're never gonna get. Never.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Russia's doing like this. I don't know. I'm just telling Russia good things. Because Russia cannot afford to fight me, and I'm telling him, hey, I'm not going to come up and take that dot from you. And I'm true to my word. I could have. If I wanted to here, I could have sent North Sea to Norwegian Sea, and this is free dot. But Russia is standing in the way of, like, Poland and Safavids and, I don't know, Inuit. So his existence is good. For now.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's, like, some... Oh, yeah, Spain, like... I don't know, like, what? You have
4 holes? Come on.
And he gets stabbed.
As you just stab him too. Like, of course he does going to stab you too. Like, you have nothing defending this entire area. Like, your entire Pacific coast is just completely... Oh my gosh.
And it gets vacated. This cut would have worked, except it got vacated.
Well, that's fun. That's a very sad Spain right there.
What a position.
And then, yeah, I mean, they lost their capital too, right? Madrid?
Oh,
yeah. Oh my god.
This is, like, the worst.
3 Portuguese armies. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a very dead Spain.
Well, 3 Portuguese armies.
At least
Portugal
France didn't stab them, though.
It's 3 Portuguese armies, but Portugal failed in their tactics this year, so they're not going to pick up as many centers as they could have otherwise, I think. Right? No, you never
anyways.
I guess you never keep Valencia. So yeah, it is good enough.
I want to note that this was a fall turn, and France does not... Oh, no, this is spring turn, right?
Spring turn.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. France is fine.
Ottomans is working... Ottomans... This is so weird to me. This is so weird. Ottomans is allied to Poland and Austria and made peace with Spain and is not attacking Abyssinia.
Yeah, okay, so the weird thing about Ottomans is that they had such a good year one. They went like +9, and then every year after that they go like +1 or +2.
Like
they're only really attacking Russia, I think.
I can just
even like Russia's dots are gone.
I can just draw out what I would do this year. Ready? Very simple. Here.
Yeah.
Here. 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 And there you go. Congratulations, you just got a bunch of dots for free. Get 1.
I got an arrow from Italy going away from me too. It'd be nice.
There's no real place to put it though, right?
I mean, it's a good position this turn because they don't want the Dutch to retreat there. But I still disagree with investing so many armies this direction. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just me. I
I
think
mean,
more
I
med
mean, I guess
fleets would help if
like
you want to go after Spain.
you could try something. I guess what you do is you hold it here and here, and then you move Tunis there, and so you self bounce. But if you self bounce, then
Yeah.
Spain could put 2 on that if you stab them. So
Mm. I guess I at war with Spain and they're not support holding Tunis. It works out for them, but I mm,
dangerous.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand any of this. And you don't stab like you don't stab anybody. Like you have no enemies. You just made a bunch of peace. Don't you wanna like do that?
You would certainly think so.
Anyways, we have a lot of suggestions for a lot of people in this game. This is
You
still
want to go to fall?
yeah, this is still chaos over here. I don't know. They're all having a time.
Yeah. It's interesting.
So yeah, fall moves. I'll start with India. Mughals disbanded this because that was part of our agreement. Ayutthaya inexplicably turns around. I I did
At
a
least you're
lot.
stopping Dutch now.
Yeah, at least they're doing the right thing. I I super duper lied to Portugal and Press about wanting to walk back to stab and make up.
Oh my god. Oh wow, they supported you to sell on? Portugal, no. How did you manage to sell that one?
Well, Ayutthaya being an Entrecost was like I could be like, hey, um, I want to hold on. I want to fight them, and they're allied to Mughals, so we need to work together again here, or else these two are gonna crush us.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess if it works.
yeah, and they just gave up on Niani. They just gave up on it.
Always nice. I wish they'd give up in Africa though. We can get to that.
Yeah. Well, what I will say is that I wanted France to support me holding here, right?
Mhm.
And then France self
That
bounced
Ottoman move is kind
instead.
of funny.
The Ottomans misordered. Ottomans tried to
They,
support this,
yeah.
which is the only
They
reason
would
I
have
kept
gotten
it.
it too.
They would have gotten it because France is a bad ally and is not supporting me to hold.
It's self-balancing there just makes no sense too. Like, there's no way Poland moves there, or you for that matter. I don't know what that's designed to do.
The other thing is that here France gets forced to retreat out of Villemori, and I had cleared Mohawk because I'm just being greedy. I'm being greedy basically, and I'm trying to organize some things to get some units to help France be better and have a better position. And also because I need
Fair.
armies on the front line because France is not doing very good tactics, and maybe I need to take better control over those tactics. So I tell France their options for a retreat here are either they can retreat to Mohawk or they can just disband the unit. And I'm like, hey France, either way you do this, you are going to have a build. It's just if you retreat to Mohawk, I will have one less build, and I will be annoyed with you. So please just delete the unit. I can build an army here, and I can support you like this. And you would never guess what France decided to do.
Oh no.
France told me
Yeah,
they
that
would.
would.
France told me they would disband the unit, and then did what they do all this game is they just did this. They did this retreat anyways.
Yeah, that would. That would. I would stab France over that. I think.
Yeah, I would too. I would too. I did. Also, Mapuche does this weird meme move. They had like done press to me about wanting to be in Ireland, and I bounced it because like no.
Of course. Yeah,
Oh,
not happening. They actually messaged me. I think they go to Ireland 'cause they messaged me about the same thing, but in South Home earlier in the phase, and I told them no. I think Ireland was their pickup.
big goal. Yeah. Well, it becomes moderately relevant later, so we'll see. I basically tell them like, hey, go away. Like go away. Go do something productive.
Yeah, they're getting stabbed in South America too. I mean,
Yeah,
not stab, but they're
they're
under
fighting. Like
pressure.
you have way better uses for this unit than trying to go take Ireland from me.
You would think.
One would hope. Yeah, also Inuit, that army that got convoyed over, this gets forced disbanded and they put a new one here instead.
Oh my god. They convoyed another one over. It just keeps getting worse.
Yep. And then I bounce Arctic Sea, so they don't get more reinforcements. They do get into 2 whatever, but newsflash, they have 2 stacked on here, and I have 4.
Yeah, you have 4 fleets in North Atlantic. They're never holding that ever.
It's not happening. Yeah.
Guess we can talk about Africa for a little bit.
Yeah, you can. What's the T? You get a lot of dots, I see.
So, yeah, I could have made some guesses here and gotten Maravi from Portugal, but I decided to play it safe a little bit. I played it a bit too safe. I could have. Yeah, I was worried. I was worried that Kismaya would tap
Yeah, they.
Emba and then Maravi would bounce.
You were
But
worried
I
that
did the safest play.
You were worried they would do the logical moves, which would be
Yeah,
this.
yeah. They outguessed me a little bit here. It's not the end of the world, but does kind of set my positioning back a little bit. I still take 2 dots, so it's fine, but not the best. I do go for Keiko though, and I was setting the French unit to move out instead of just hold. Or actually, no. I was trying to sell France on and stabbing Portugal, so I wanted them to dot the Pondo there. I don't think I got a concrete answer back from them. I was expecting that fleet to move just anywhere, and they held. So me and France are no longer friends now. They did not take that kindly. That's not great.
But yeah, I don't know what France's friendship is not
Yeah.
worth much anyways, as you can see by my attempt to be friends with them.
Yeah, I don't know. I need them drawing Mapondo, like it would have been good for me, but like if they don't do it, it's fine. But like just holding that unit, I don't get it. Like it's a falter, right? So like if you're gonna,
Like,
like, you would move out to keep that space clear for a build, surely. Um, or I guess not if you're France.
well, France doesn't have builds. Well, he has 1, but he has to use it somewhere else.
True. Still, I don't know. That's just south a little bit. Dutch is still going as normal, so. But the one thing it does have is I managed to get Abby to stab up north towards Ottomans. I managed to start that war. I think I told Ottomans that Abby was going to do this too. Kind of like playing both sides of this conflict, but now that they're actually like locked into a war, like, Abby has drawn blood here, so and Ottomans actually dodged them from Mara too. So I'm really happy about this.
Yeah, I'm not sure why
Because now I
Abyssinia
can
gave
kind
you. I'm not sure why Abyssinia gave you a heads up about that. I would never if I was Abyssinia, but
of we were talking about it for like they've been very suspicious of the Turks for like a while now.
Mhm.
But, like we have gone back and forth over the turns about like if we should go after them now or later. I've been trying to press them into going in to attack them, like telling them I'll join them after I kill Dutch, and they're very hesitant about it. But it is a conversation that we've had for a while now, and then I'm trying to get the Turks to attack them too. So it doesn't really matter to me how it happens. I want that war to happen, and here it finally does. So I can kind of offer my support to both sides here and weasel my way into a better position. Because now the Ottomans, they had that set up to take a decent amount of dots for me, so they could make my life pretty hard if they worked with Dutch here. They can probably walk into Mandara, take House of States from me if they wanted to. But now that they're at war with they do it. Or at least I think they won't.
they have bigger things to worry about. They want to get you to stab
Yeah.
Abby, so they're not going to stab you.
They need my help, basically. So I'm pretty comfortable here.
Yeah.
And then Azeron just continues to die.
Azeron actually does decent here. See, because this is actually a bounce.
Oh yeah, they do take
and they get
Bunyoro.
Bunyoro back because Abby messes up their tactics. Basically, is what happens here.
Yes, they should have. Yeah, I think they misordered.
So what happens is you never cover Mahra with 1, because if Ottomans are stabbing you, they're going to use 2. So the way you do it is you want to support Madratine down with that here, like this, with this fleet, and then you want to support Gala here with Salamo, and then you want to what is this? You want to, like, I think support.
You need
hold.
Oromo to support there. I think that was a misorder, but I'm not sure.
No, this looks deliberate. Maybe this was a misorder, but either way, this is how you support.
Well, they're not moving out of Bunyoro, so that's why I think it is. But it could be either. I'm not sure.
Basically, you do all this and you win. But Abby covered Makra with 1 fleet, so it went poorly.
Azeron gets to live for a while longer, but their position is so far gone at this point that it doesn't really matter.
Wasn't there also like there's some public press?
That was back in I think when I initially stabbed it. It was me, Azeron, and me, Abby, in Portugal, all stabbing it. Like, they were specifically upset about me stabbing them because I only got like the 1 dot out of it, which fair. 1 dot stabs are generally a bad idea. I think in this case, in particular, is like kind of worth it.
Well, it's because it opened up a lot of avenues for you, and because the alternative was Abyssinia stabbing you instead.
Yeah. Plus, this way I can get Portugal going north and like away from their dots.
Yeah, this is a classic.
Which lets me do this to them.
You clear the units out of the way.
Yeah. Right. While it is just a 1 dot stab, it actually is pretty worth it for me.
Yes.
I can't say that in the public chat, of course.
Yeah, you just gotta be like, why are you attacking me for doing a 1 dot stab on you? I mean, this is really Abyssinia's stab.
Yeah, I think I just kind of like ignored it, but a lot of people had some thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was funny. It was really funny, and I let it happen because less people were talking about me.
True.
Yep.
That's me for this year, I think.
Okay, on to builds.
Pretty comfortable, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, France stabbed me. So my builds, well, I have one in St. John's, which is normal. It's anti-Inuit. And then I have one in Bermuda, which is normal. It's anti-Inuit. And I have one in Bahamas, which is normal. That's anti-Spain. I'm stabbing Spain, France, okay? And I have one in Madras, which is actually normal. I'm fighting Portugal, because Portugal's down to 1 dot in India. And they have 2 dots, I guess. Maldives, Goa. So naturally,
look at their built in Spain for a second. That's where it came from.
They suspended those 2 aren't like I understand that you want to be kind of spiteful sometimes, but this is why I stabbed you, because if I waited any longer, this problem's only got to become worse. Because they have 2 dots and they maintained 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, I will throw my game to make yours worse. It is going to make me more likely to stab you, because it only gets more painful if you wait.
Yep.
Only gets more painful if you wait, buddy. So you're going to make me do it. Yeah. I also am trying to keep relations up with Mughals here, but I'm kind of suspicious they're going to stab me. But at the same time, I'm telling them, hey, if you stab me, you're going to get murdered by Safavids, so don't. And we'll see if that works. Because I'm telling the truth, they will get murdered by Safavids if they stab me, but
yeah,
you know how people are.
I mean, they already are getting murdered by Safavids from the looks of it.
Yeah, they are. That ends very poorly, actually. Oh my god. At this point, Sweden's getting bludgeoned over the head by Poland. So I go to Sweden and I say hey Sweden, I gotta be honest with you here. I'm never gonna stab you because you're a good buffer state. I just tell them, I'm like, you're a buffer state for me against Poland. So as long as you keep fighting Poland, you don't have anything to worry about from me. And Sweden doesn't really
How
have
kind.
Sweden doesn't really have a choice but to believe me. And
Yeah, their game's pretty much over either way, so might as well take what they can get.
yeah, and on
Hope that
occasion,
King of Prussia doesn't snap.
on occasion, I give them tactical advice to hold Poland back for longer because Poland's being annoying or whatever. Like, do you have 2 dots and 4 units here? It's the same thing like India. Like, come
I
on,
know,
man.
I hated that too.
Like, you have so
Like,
like
clearly
like
trying to
build
do something here.
like build units here and go this way. Like,
Yep.
like look, Poland. Get some glasses, okay? Get some glasses. You need glasses to see the dots, okay? Yeah. Anyways,
You're right. Mm.
what else happens here? Oh yeah, France used their build to build an army in Marseille, which they could have done anyways if they had disbanded the retreat, but they didn't.
Yeah. Army de Jean could have been good tier 2. And Austria seems to be
Army, yeah.
doing quite well here.
I think you need Marseille more though because you can cover like that.
Yeah, that port is pretty valuable.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Let's see. Your builds, army, fleet. Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's anything really huge this phase. There's more of the same for me, really. Abby is not building next to me though, for once, because Ottomans are at war with them. So I'm very happy about this.
It's very good.
Army Tripoli is still not what I want to see, but at this
it's
point I
going
just kind of
that way.
like learned. Yeah, but like, where does it go after Abby dies?
Boop.
Yep.
Well, on the bright
So-
side, Ageron being in Bunyoro is really good for you here because you have an excuse to put an army right here and then surround Bunyoro because you're just a good ally. You're a good ally doing your job.
Huh. I just want to help out, you know?
Yeah. Such a nice guy. Also, look at
the
this.
only-
The Portugal is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3,
And-
4. Okay. Not terrible, but
Yeah, I'm still trying to get France to dot them, but it's not happening.
classic. That's just France. They don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
But the other reason I stepped Portugal is because I wanted them to build a fleet in Arguin the previous year, but they didn't. Because I don't know, they were more committed to like Muscat or whatever. Like, okay.
Yeah, the problem with Bunyoro is that while I could set up for it with a good excuse, Abby still has like 3 armies on it, so even then, I just can't. I just can't win there.
You gotta wait longer still.
Yeah.
All right.
But at this point, I think I am trying to organize a coalition against the Ottomans. So I think my thought process here is that they're strong allied with Poland, so and if I help them kill Abby, what'll happen is that they'll swallow you with Poland. I'll help them kill Abby. They're not making any moves up in Europe, so if I work with the Ottomans here, I just die.
Yep.
I can't move north. They'll steamroll south, and I don't get the dots I need, and they'll crush me with Poland's help. So at this point, I'm pretty committed to working against them, but I can't make any concrete moves on the map just yet, because I need to clean up Dutch first. So I still have to like pretend I'm going to work with them and help them out, but at this point, I do start trying to get a proper coalition after them. So I think I'm reaching out to Spain, Portugal, and Socrates about this. And Portugal's in. They're already kind of at war with Ottomans, I think. Spain is in. Portuguese disbands here, I think, are kind of part of like a mutual peace agreement between them. And I think they're both going to work against the Ottomans in the area.
Yeah.
And the Safavids are a lot harder. They're like 50-50 on it every time. They're really dragging their feet, but like the army to breeze build, right? That was a way for them to like decide after the fact if they wanted to take my offer and go after the and do the stab or not. And I really try to get them on side, but it's not having much of an effect on them. That's kind of generally what I'm trying to do here.
Okay, yeah, I am fully setting up to stab France basically because I'm annoyed. So like Bermuda
No
is
build in Cormanton is pretty nice.
yeah, it's nice for you. I mean, this should have been a dead giveaway. Like, oh, England's planning something because yes, I mean, although to be fair, I'm losing Mali this year anyways. I'm pretty sure because I'm stabbing France. So
Yeah.
And also Portugal, I stabbed again. Portugal, the double stab. So like I had sold Portugal on me not stabbing them again, and then I did. So the double stab basically sends them into a spite, like a what is it, a spite tantrum or whatever against me for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Which is like
More
okay,
stuff.
like that's democracy, buddy. That's why I stabbed you, literally, because get it out of the way while you're still weak.
Yeah, this is not the Portuguese position that you want.
No, well, you need to enter your orders correctly, and you need to be a useful ally in West Africa.
You also just need one person doing both the press and the moves.
Mm-hmm.
And a 13 player country doesn't work all that well. I would have thought. I guess that's what this experiment is for. Prove that democracy does not work. At least not in diplomacy.
Yeah, it is not a good thing. Yeah, so the plan for stabbing France, if I recall correctly, is like Bermuda to Massachusetts Bay to cover Boston when I do this, basically, which is pretty obvious. It's not the best stab in the world because, I mean, there are problems. I don't have quite as many units as I need to properly execute the stab, but I'm going to do it because France is such a bad ally that I'm going to stab them anyways. I'll get a decent landing on them around Port Royal with all of this. I think this is also a turn. I forget if it was now. I think I start making peace noises towards Inuit.
Okay.
Because
Are they still demanding the Greenland god or what there?
They've come to terms that it's not going to happen. I think they're not very smart, but they have they have eyes on that one dot, and they finally realize that they can't get it. Also, they got like stabbed by Ching or something, I think, at the same time, so they needed to switch priorities. So that basically led into me. I made some like a few propositions. I had to work with them really hard to get a peace deal, but I was just patient and also promised them support into Spitsbergen, which was a Russian dot. It's this northern one up here you can see. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah. Of course, it's annoying because
Not like Russia really needs it.
Because Russia's going to retreat here and then do this. Like that's the most obvious thing in the world. But I'll gladly pay that price for peace with Inuit because peace with Inuit means I can stab France safely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
so
just stab France.
I can cover my ass. I think I also do stab Spain here. I forget if I do or not, but free Havana, free St. Augustine. I like dots.
Yeah. Dots are nice.
It is a little close to the sun though, but but Spain's so weak, man. Like,
I mean, if you see the dots, right, it's really their fault, right?
mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. They should have forced a pair of sunglasses onto me. Or they should have turned off the lights.
Yeah. It's interesting game so far, I think.
Yeah. I guess on that note, we'll probably wrap up the part 1 here and be back another time, as it were. As we can see, I'm on the top of the world, doing very well. Saul's also doing very well down here, very promising position in the long run.
Slowly crawling my way up there.
That's Congo for you.
Yep.
So,
Off in my corner, doing my own thing.
yeah, nobody worry about him. It's fine.
Yeah. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll have a part 2 out relatively shortly. We'll see when we can schedule it. Unfortunately, we both have lives. Tragic, isn't it?
Hopefully soon. But yeah. See
On
you in
that,
part 2.
yeah. On that note, thanks for watching. Yeah, adios.